Okay, this is session 3 of Dungeon World Legerdemain. I'm going to begin by doing a quick recap of just kind of some of the things that are going on in Legerdemain, this opera house in the great city of Eagles Reach. These are things that are relevant for the remainder of the series. So we know that Prim Glamour is putting on a performance of a play called The Thinning of the Veil. That is a I don't know if the right word, a metaphor, a euphemism for thinning the veil usually means something like separating, uh, thinning the thing that separates our world from another world, right? So there's a clue there. But that's what she's doing. She mentions to Opry needing to find or make a particular prop the script makes reference to. He's unclear like what this gate is supposed to be, what it's supposed to look like, but that's like the missing bit of what she needs. Lord Ashton got Stenton a job doing craft service at Legerdemain, which is a huge there are some hints that Lord Ashton and his family have been involved in Stenton's life for a long time, that the tattoos he has been receiving since he was a boy are there to help him with some kind of curse he was born with. Stenton seems to just like accept this very unquestioningly, and he seems to trust Lord Ashton in this way. But the Lord Ashton mystery goes even deeper. It's remarked by someone that Lord Ashton looks very similar to Corwin. And indeed, Ashton later makes reference to the two of them having grown up together, and that he's really insistent on wanting Corwin to acknowledge that they love each other, right? And seemingly Corwin's inability to do that is why Lord Ashton kills him later on. A brother and sister pair of halflings are skulking around. The sister dressed up like a sheep, pretending to be members of the cast, and they even attempted the assassination of a young male cast member. We later learn that it's pretty clear, it's strongly hinted that these two are working for Lord Ashton in some way. In other parts of Legerdemain, some runes were discovered carved on the floor of the underworld. The underworld is like basically the basement storage area of Legerdemain. These runes match Stenton's tattoo, although it's a little unclear if anybody in the party should realize that or not. I think that had Gunter seen them, because I think Gunter, you were the one who saw the original tattoos on Stenton, right? Had you seen those tattoos down in the underworld, you definitely would have made the connection. But in any case,
Gunter wasn't there.
Yeah, out of character though, we know that's the case. There are some old props and trunks and things on the storage roof as well, and among those, a wand of fireballs was buried beneath a stack of unfinished scripts in a trunk. There was evidence that this trunk had been recently broken into and something had been removed from it. So those are things we know. Of course, Corwin was killed by Lord Ashton in the underworld, fulfilling a shadow prophecy that was whispered to Nico during Anchor Fire. Very tragic. It was a good scene, but it was very sad, tragic. So we have a new character from Patrick that we're going to meet at some point. That's kind of the gist of it. Is there anything I'm forgetting or anything you guys have any questions about?
I think we captured the halfling that was dressed up like the sheep.
You did, yeah. Well, I think we cut with like basically you knocked them out and they failed to assassinate the person. We never really picked up from that moment, but yeah, you can say that you did for sure, absolutely. Cool. Okie doke. So I think this is how I want this to go, because we have like a tricky situation of a returning character and a brand new character in the final session of the series. Fortunately, this is a gauntlet game. I'm really good at this, so we're gonna work it out. I've got a love letter ready to go for Gunter to get Gunter involved in things. Gunter, I think you're not actually on this mission, but I think that during Anchor Fire, the shadows are going to whisper some very specific things to you. They're going to get your attention and make you want to be involved in the mission. All right. After we get Gunter oriented in time and space, I'm then we're going to introduce Patrick's new character. I'm going to learn what their character's about. If they work for the Shadow Court, they can or cannot. It's up to you, Patrick. And figure out kind of where they're at and what's going on. And I think I want to kick off with a sort of like basically kind of an medias res where we see Lord Ashton pushing the next phase of his plan, or kind of accelerating his plans because of the foiled assassination. And so what I'm probably going to do is we might just kind of summarize the events immediately after the foiled assassination, so that we can kind of fast forward in time just a little bit to get to kind of get things moving ahead a little bit. At the very least, I want to figure out like what you guys would have done with all that with that situation, right? So, but let's talk about Gunter. So characters who were here last time, you're going to just sit tight for a minute while we work through this. So, are you ready to talk about it?
Sorry, you cut off.
I want to see your anchor fire. Are you ready to talk about it?
All right. So my anchor fire, does it have to be a fire?
It has to be something that can cast shadows.
Okay. So I think the anchor fire is like a small lantern, and when I want to use the anchor fire, I just do a small cut on my hand and then pour blood on it, and then the shadows do something.
Oh, I see. So like as your drops of blood hit the flame, it causes the flame to flicker in a particular way, and that's how you interpret it. Oh, I like that. That's what is it about like drawing your own blood that's so important here? Like that feels like a very ritualistic sort of thing to do. Like why is that an important part of this?
Because my character, being all about blood and gore and all that stuff, is very fixated on that. So it's a very important part of him as a person, that he has to draw blood in order to see what's going on.
I like it. That actually ties really nicely into what I want to do here, which is I don't want to do the anchor fire custom move. We're going to do a sort of version of it, I think, or at least something fictionally similar, but if not the precise move. So basically, the shadows whisper secrets related to the events at Legerdemain, a mission that you aren't even a part of. I want you to choose 2 from the following below. And the blood thing is really great because one of these questions actually relates to like your very personal sort of like involvement here, right? They're not divided up nicely on the chat, but I'll read them out for the 10 people watching this video. They explain something to you that the others aren't seeing about Legerdemain. They whisper the true desires of the secret masters of the Shadow Court with regards to this mission. The secret masters of the Shadow Court never tell anyone what they're up to. This is a rare occurrence. They whisper how you, Gunter, can aid the secret masters of the Shadow Court in fulfilling their long-term goals. So basically, you just pick your poison here. Like, no matter which 2 you choose, you're going to be missing some context, but that's okay.
All right. I want to go with the second one first, and then depending on the answer of that one, I might choose either or.
I'm into that, yeah. So they whisper the true desires of the secret masters of the Shadow Court with regards to this mission. So the purpose of the play, the thinning of the veil, which is a sort of ritual, is to be able to reach out across the planes of existence and draw forth someone or something, okay? The Shadow Court, the secret masters of the Shadow Court, who rarely directly communicate with anyone who's like on the ground in the Shadow Court, right, including your handlers. The secret masters of the Shadow Court are keenly interested in seeing if this works. They're curious to see if what Prim Glamour is up to actually happens. They now they're not doing anything to like, you know, to inform your handlers or the layers of bureaucracy of the Shadow Court that you guys should like just let this happen. But you know they're secretly interested in seeing it happen, right? Whether you guys let it happen or not is up to you, but they are interested in it. So that's an important thing.
So I want to know then what are the others not seeing?
The shadows whisper to you that Skilter Rune, the wizard who is alleged to have hid this magical artifact somewhere in Legerdemain, before he died, he had taken on the job as the in-house playwright at Legerdemain, or the librettist, right, at the opera house. He wrote this play. It's almost like a lich sort of thing, right? He wrote this play as a way of preserving his own like legacy in life, right? The thing that really that's an interesting piece of information, but the thing that's really like kind of like key here, Skilter Rune is Lord Ashton's uncle.
All right.
So
I'm just gonna walk into Legerdemain and see what the others are up to then.
sounds good. Very good. So you have that information, and we'll kind of figure out kind of what's going on there. Did we lose David? Where's David at?
He dropped out while we were doing that love letter.
Well, we'll catch him up. Okay, so Patrick, let's talk about your character, whose name is Brand. That's a great character. What is the deal with him? Introduce us, please.
So, I hadn't considered him being part of the Shadow Court, so I was sort of thinking over that. I think maybe, though, this might be, if anything, more of like an audition for the Shadow Court sort of thing. Like what might get him into it. I do like him, just for personal reasons, as being an enemy of Lord Ashton. And maybe he's involved with this situation because he's seen how much Lord Ashton's gotten involved with it. Like putting Stenton out there into play signals something sort of serious going on.
What do you think about the idea of you being connected to Stenton in some way too? Or like maybe
I like that.
Maybe that's the angle there, because the thing that we know about Stenton is he's like this pawn of Lord Ashton's family, right? We learned last time that they've been like over the course of his life giving him these tattoos, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these are tattoos that match the symbols down in the basement of Legerdemain, the place where Skilter Rune, their uncle, worked and was writing a play to bring himself back from the dead. So it should all be coming together. There's a missing gate also, by the way, in the script. I love the idea of like you being connected to Brand, or at least there being some kind of connection to Brand, so that because maybe you want to help Brand and save Brand, and you don't like how he's being manipulated by Lord Ashton. Does that sound good?
Stenton,
Brand
yeah.
Or Stenton?
Or I'm sorry, Brand. Yeah, Brand has a connection to Stenton that you know.
I'm good with like older brother, that like Stenton got lost, kidnapped, sold off, whatever, very young age.
I like it. You've been tracking him or whatever. You've been trying to find him. Oh, that's a good idea. You're the older brother, or Stenton is?
I think I was.
Okay. Good. How funny that you're named Brand and your younger brother is noteworthy in the story because of his tattoos. Synchronicities all over the place. Right? That's very good. Well, continue telling us more about him, like his look and things like that.
Look, I went with mischievous eyes, maintained hair, flamboyant clothes, graceful body. Like he's here because he's an actor. Like there's secret vengeances and whatnot going on in life and tracking lost brothers, but you have to get by in the world. I don't know if he's been a part of the company this whole time, or if he's like a last minute replacement. What do you think?
I don't know. I think whatever you think is interesting. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Whatever you think. Yeah, I think either will work fine.
Has it just been in the past couple of days that Lord Ashton's gotten involved with this play? Like, has he just sort of swooped in?
Lord Ashton, something that hasn't been said yet, but that is true, is Lord Ashton is actually like the noble patron of Legerdemain, one of the patrons.
Okay, then I think maybe just a little bit after Prim Glamour showed up and started being weird all over the place, that's when I started paying attention to here. So maybe a couple months. I've definitely been involved in the rehearsal and production of this play.
Nice. So you've been around then during all this.
Yeah.
So you know everything. That's actually perfect. It means we don't have to, like, in the fiction, catch your character up on anything, right? So
cool.
Awesome. David, you're back.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Anyways, let me catch up real quick. So basically, basically the shadows whispered to Gunter about the following. One, the secret masters of the Shadow Court. They kind of want to see what happens when the play is finished. They're very curious about the outcome. Whether you guys, they're not going to like command anyone to stop it or not stop it, but they are curious about it. The other thing is that they whispered that Skilter Rune, the wizard who is involved in this place, that person was actually as the in-house playwright of Legerdemain before he died, and he is also the uncle of Lord Ashton. And so the thinking there is that Lord Ashton is trying to fulfill some kind of like something that Skilter Rune wanted, right? So that is what's going on there. And then we just met Patrick's character Brand, who is a bard who is the older brother of Stenton. Although they didn't grow up together, Stenton was taken away as a child, and Brand has been kind of like following Stenton's situation, and that Stenton is basically a pawn of Lord Ashton, and because he's a bard, he actually got involved with the company a couple of months ago when all this stuff with Prim Glamour and Lord Ashton suddenly being more interested in Legerdemain. Lord Ashton's family is they're a patron family of the Opera House, and so he's there kind of also like figuring out the Stenton Lord Ashton situation. And because he's been there the whole time, he's seen everything that's been going on. So that's all very very helpful.
So instead of species, this one had like a background. So I went with Fey tutelage just because it was the most interesting one. But I think maybe here it was some deal with a Fey creature that let me finally track down where Stenton was. I think maybe something about the tattooing that they've been doing over him, like it makes him hard to find. It makes him made him hard for me to track down.
Well, and there's also like an interesting side connection too, in the sense that Prim Glamour is a priestess dedicated to the philosophy of old King Faunus, right?
It's
and
true.
Old King Faunus is a nature sort of mythical figure, right? So a nature-based mythical figure.
So yeah, I don't know that necessarily needs to come up, but just sort of an interesting hook in there.
No, I like it. Yeah, I mean, I like you can imagine the sort of like miasma of like connections and rumors and stuff that caused you to be here, right? Like you have all the Shadow Court got here one way, you got here another way, and now you're all meeting in the middle. So that's great. And Gunter got here in her way, or his way rather. So that's fantastic. Good. I don't think I have any. Is there anything else about Brand we need to know?
I was just gonna say the move I picked up was cutting jibe, which is basically like shut someone down.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
And then for flags, just to get me in here, one of them is tell someone about my exploits or performances. So if one of you has seen like a performance I did before, you can just make up a story about it. Good or bad is fine with me. And then I have sort of a two-part here of refuse my aid because I'm not one of you, and then eventually acknowledge that I'm more useful than I am obnoxious.
Okay, good. I feel like that one's going to be a trying one. We'll see. Okay. Getting in my zone real quick. All right. I think I want to frame up like kind of two things going on. Okay, kind of two scenes basically. One where Gunter and Brand are going to be, and continuing from just where the rest of you were. Okay, so we had this drama with the halfling sister trying to drop a sandbag weight on top of this male actor to kill them. That was foiled by you guys. We saw Lord Ashton seeing that it was foiled and clearly interested in the outcome of what's going on there, but he decides to turn and leave after he was just kind of humiliated by Aubrey anyway. So he's just probably pissed as a general matter about you guys. We see him leave, and I think we're going to basically see him go outside of Legerdemain, go around the corner where he's meeting with a group of individuals who are lying in wait. Okay. And I think that is where we're going to see, I think Gunter, you're going to just kind of like witness this. Okay. And Brand, you were out having a smoke break. That's okay. And you witness it. And so that is a thing that, and I'll let you guys decide how you react. But basically you see Lord Ashton leaving Legerdemain, clearly angry about something. And he goes to an alley on the other side of the building. He goes to an alley where he confers with 5 individuals. It's too dark. You can't quite make out what they look like. But the one thing you know for sure is that 2 of those 5 individuals are really big. They probably stand about 8 feet tall and 4 feet wide at the shoulder. Okay. The other 3 are normal men-sized individuals, but he's there with them. He seems to be like giving them orders of some sort. And I think we'll put Gunter. Gunter, I think we'll put you in the same alleyway if that's okay. Just watching from the shadows. And Brand, we'll put you. I think you see Lord Ashton go down the alleyway, and maybe you just kind of poke your head around to see what's going on, right? So, and I think you guys are basically on either side of this meeting, right? So the 6 of them are there conferring. Lord Ashton's giving them some kind of orders. I'll let you guys do rolls if you wish to get more information. And then Gunther, you're on one end of the alley, and then you're on the other end, Brand. So you guys are basically like flanking them, right? We're going to talk about that. That's the setup. I want to cut back to the other room though, where I think let's just pick up where basically you have knocked out the little sheep disguised halfling, and there is a they are there on the ground. There's a lot of like commotion, like what was happening, what's going on, da, 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 da. Let's just go around the table with the 3 of you who are like in the vicinity of the interior of Legerdemain and figure out what you're doing. So Opry, what are you up to during all this?
I think right now Pablo and I are in the underworld. I think we just discovered Corwin's body. Is that sound right? Or did we come back up?
I think we could have.
Aaron, you broke up. I didn't hear anything you just said. Say that again.
Sorry. I still remembered Opry and Pablo saw Corwin die, and I don't remember what happened after that. And did we go back up to the main opera house, or are we still in the underworld looking at?
That's right. You and Nico were down in the underworld, right? That's right. You guys had not really left that scene yet. That's a good point. I'll leave it up to you. Wherever you want to be. You can have seen that. You can be aware of the assassination or not. It's up to you.
What do you think, Nico?
And I'm just trying to remember what was the last thing you told me. The fat lie that it was the halflings that killed Corwin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you lied, didn't you? That was actually an interesting little detail that should not go unmentioned. What was the nature of the lie?
I think, what was it? I think I knew that Ashton had killed.
You alibied out Ashton. You said you were with him at the time.
That's right. Yeah.
There's also with Nico down there the carvings on the floor. Potential to notice that.
Right.
I mean, I'm very distracting. Don't get me wrong. My dead body is entirely tragic.
Tragic.
Okay, in that case, I think that I'm trying to usher Nico back upstairs. Like, I know that Ashton didn't do this, and maybe hearing some commotion. Maybe I'm like, I'm sure that's them. I bet we caught the guy. It's got to be Shep. He's on this.
You're right, Opry. I'm going there. I'm going to question them, and we're going to learn some more.
Good. Smart move.
Well, Shep, meanwhile, where are you?
Yeah, I guess I think I have a question for Opry. Like, why are you so interested in alibying Ashton out?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay. Just want to make sure I didn't miss something.
No, in the first series, no, I won't go there. But I'm not sure yet. There's something.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it's a good question. I mean, like, it's probably something we should resolve. I mean, it could just be as simple as you, maybe you just don't want like Nico to do anything rash. Or there could be something, could be a weird bit of tension, right?
Yeah, when I originally thought about it, I was thinking in terms of there was that moment when Fraser's character Deering in the first session, he got transported away, and I was like, I had a mental connection to him, and I knew that he was gonna try to betray the Shadow Court, and so I was thinking of it in those terms. I liked what he was doing there, and so I'm not sure what at this point I'm not sure what Ashton is up to, but in the same way that I was trying to run a con on Lady Prim Glamour, I think I'm also trying to do the same for Ashton, maybe. Trying to keep the others out of it as much as possible.
I see. So yeah. So one thing that I didn't mention in the recap is that's really important here is that you're in with Prim Glamour, right? She thinks you are she thinks you're an acolyte of Old King Faunus as well, right? And so she trusts you, right? So I guess so the question is like, what do you believe is the connection between Lord Ashton and Prim Glamour? Like, what's the thing you're thinking is happening here? This is totally out of character, by the way.
Yeah, I guess my guess is that he's trying to disrupt this in some way.
Right. Okay. I see. I see. All right.
In that case, maybe maybe I've sold myself on the fact that I'm on board with Old King Faunus and don't quite know it yet, or maybe there's been some bewitching from Prim that I'm trying to move to protect Prim's plan, or that I see greater interest in seeing Prim's plan succeed than Ashton's plan succeed.
Well, we should interrogate that. I mean, I think that's super interesting, and we should talk about it. I mean, what is it about like Prim's ultimate goal? She wants this return to this more like creative, artistic, inspiring pastoral life, right? Governed by Old King Faunus. That's what she wants, right? What is it about that that's so appealing to Aubrey?
Okay, so maybe when I died in the first series, one of the things that was asked of me is to bring back Old King Smuel's bone crown.
Right.
And one of the outcomes of that, I think, was that I imagined like her hearing voices, and one of those voices being Smuel himself, somehow connected to her. And so I don't know if these are old kings that are connected in some way, but maybe there's something in that connection from Smuel to Faunus.
You are starting to believe in the days of the old kings and queens. I like that. Yeah. Even bigger picture than what Prim is up to, right? Like it's more like a full stop return to the old ways, to an old way of being. Because that's what Old King Smuel wants. That's what they all want ultimately, right? These old kings and queens are always trying to like reassert themselves in the world, right? Interesting. I'd say you have a traitor in your midst, group, but I don't think you do because the Shadow Court is so unclear about its motives. They send so many mixed signals, right? And you guys have a basic mission, and you can choose to fulfill that mission or not. But I think this is an interesting turn of events. Okay, I like it. Does that that makes sense to me as a player? Nico obviously doesn't. You know, it's okay for Nico just to think that you're telling the truth, and that's that, right? But I'd be curious, Nico, like. Do you have a suspicion there that she's lying to you? I mean, does it seem like it adds up? I'm okay with either. Like, just whatever you think is interesting as a player.
You want me to be completely honest?
Yeah.
This entire mystery is so complicated because it's now at this point so hard to separate what I know and what Nico knows.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like completely confused about everything that's going on.
Well, just think about your character's motivations, which are still very simple, right? Figure out what's going on at Legerdemain and or acquire this magical artifact. You can just go from there as your basis, right? The rest of it is all just stuff to entertain us as players, right? And in terms of like player knowledge versus character knowledge, part of the conversation to me is figuring out like out of character what we think is interesting, what we think would be an interesting move in the story, and then jumping back in character to make that happen. And so to the extent that if you think it's interesting to just accept Aubrey's story and continue on with whatever's going on in the moment, you should do that. If out of character you think it would be more interesting for Nico to suspect that Aubrey is lying, I think that's even maybe more interesting. And so we kind of go from there. The interesting part is Aubrey's behavior here, not like what Aubrey is ultimately trying to do in the mystery, right? That's my thinking on it anyway. As far as the bigger mystery goes, I mean, again, you guys can react to it however you wish. All you have to do is ultimately just finish your mission, which is what the hell's going on at Legerdemain. Go back and report to your handlers. That is always the escape. That's always the escape hatch. That's always the off ramp. The clocks, though, they just keep on ticking down. So
yeah, the thing is that I think that only Aubrey knows what is going on, and as far as we know, she will not probably not tell, but play into it. So yeah, I will just take it from here and see what can come out for the next 3 hours.
Indeed. So let's go back up. Let's go back. So in that case, Aubrey, it sounds like you were just going back up and responding to the commotion then. Okay, that's good. Nico, are you responding to the commotion as well?
Yes, although it was my impression that Aubrey will stay behind, that she just sent me off to go to the action. But yeah, I'm definitely going up.
Okay. I think I'm like pushing you up. I'm like, come on.
Okay, so you're staying. Okay, so Aubrey, are you staying down there and you're just sending Nico, or are you going?
No, me and Nico are going up, and I'm like leading the way up.
Let's switch over to Shep. So Shep, you've just knocked out this sheep halfling. What do you do?
Yeah, I think I'm like just walking up to where there was the crowd of people, and one of them was about to get hit with the bag, and I'm like trying to calm them down and get information about what they're, who that one is who is about to get assassinated. Does he know this halfling? Do any of you know this halfling? Do you have any idea why he might be trying to kill you? Kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
Why should he be trying to kill you? And then securing the halfling.
Yeah, I think like you can secure the halfling. Some people have seen her around, right? But other people, but it's kind of one of those things of like, oh, I just assume someone hired her, right? No one knows where she came from, though. And you know that already, right? You know she's up to no good.
Right. But like, importantly, does it look like anyone is not surprised by what's going on here? Like they were in on it.
Roll this on realities.
That's a miss.
Hold that thought. I'm gonna cut back out to the alley. All right. So, Gunther, what do you do when you see Lord Ashton? And you know that Lord Ashton's up to no good, right? What do you do when you see Lord Ashton out here talking to these 5 individuals, 2 of whom are definitely not human and they all look a little ferocious, right? Just in their bearing. They're in a sort of like combat ready posture, right?
All right. I'll let him finish what he's doing and then approach him as if I wasn't even looking at them to begin with. All right. Lord Ashton, it's good to see you here. I was about to see the play.
And he says, you are a night early, I fear, friend. Do we know each other?
I Does he know that I healed Stanton's wounds?
He will remember you from the masquerade ball, but he may or may not be pretending like he doesn't know who you are. Right.
All right. I healed your manservant's wounds, Stanton, right?
Yes, at the ball. That's right. That's how I met Stanton, actually. How interesting that you are here now, friend. You certainly aren't dressed for the opera, even if it was tonight, given the state of your clothing. Talking about your blood.
What are you talking about?
I think at this point he says, well, I'm happy we had this little reunion. I think at that point you'll see as you get a little closer, he's got 3 orcs and 2 ogres with him in the alleyway. You'll get a glimpse of, they're wearing hoods. You'll get a glimpse of their monstrous visage, right? Tusk-toothed, kind of look. And the 5 of them turn and they begin to circle you. What do you do? Even better, Brand, what do you do?
So yeah, I think I was using that wonderful distraction to try and get up closer to when they shoot off the weird bloody idiot. I could listen in to what they were talking about. But if things look like they look like they're about to do something awful to him, don't they?
They do, yeah. It's not looking good for Gunter. Yeah.
Gunter is already looming over Ashton, because he was looming over Ashton pretty much the entire conversation, because what are social skills?
Yeah. The situation's hot, in other words.
Why not? I'll pull out a very stealthy violin
and playing a song.
Yes, and begin playing a song. My magical music move here.
Okay, I'm into this.
Do we have a page? Roll for your party.
Oh, I'll grab this one. Sorry, I always forget that.
And yeah, I think I'll like start playing the overture to what the thinning of the veil performance.
Oh, good. I like that. That's really good. Yeah, that's great. What do you roll here on this?
Let's see. I roll charisma. I don't know why Roll for Your Party hates me.
Snake Eyes.
I got a 4. The intent going here is that it would hold the attention of every intelligent creature until the performance is completed or something breaks their attention. And I might have gotten more, but no, none of that.
No, I'm here for it. Basically, I think you begin playing, and
for like words, where I was going was I'm in the back alley of this. Oh, there's obviously some misunderstanding over when the curtain date is. Here, let me, as a representative of the theater, calm this down and separate. That was my intention.
Yeah, I think it's a great intention. I think Lord Ashton is definitely in a I don't want any witnesses kind of mood right now. Regardless of what your intention was, we can find a violin player anywhere, and I think he basically hears you start playing. I think there's a moment when they all just kind of look up in a confused way, what the hell's going on right now, and Lord Ashton just points to one of the orcs who is really good with a throwing dagger, and a throwing dagger just flies and just the violin or you?
They both make funny sounds when they're hit.
Table, what do you think is more interesting? I smash the violin or I hit?
I think it's too early for the violin to be hit.
Okay.
Now we got a theater full of annoying instruments.
That's true. Brand might be a man of many talents. Dagger just sticks you, just pop right in the chest. You're going to take a D8.
Oh, damn, that's a powerful throwing dagger. I'm right next to Ashton, right?
You are, yeah. You're right next to all 6 of them. In fact, what do you do?
I am going to grab Ashton and grab my sword.
Okay.
Basically, trying to kidnap him or not kidnap him.
You're going to try to pull him away. Okay, good.
Yeah, pull him away and basically take him as a hostage.
Good. Shep, one of the problems is you have let the other halfling get out of your sight, and I think while you are quickly like trying to assess the situation as you're like tying up the little halfling, you're trying to figure out like who is paying attention to this, who's really in control. I assume you're going to ask who's really in control here. What here is not what it appears to be. While you're like searching the situation out, there's a lot of commotion, there's a lot of chaos, all that stuff's going on. The brother halfling is still running around, right? I'm trying to think if I remember that correctly from last time.
Yeah, I don't know where he is.
But you would let him go though, right? He's in play. The brother halfling, like, he slips up right behind you, and he just sticks a knife right in your side.
Man, all these people around here are completely useless. Not a one of them could have warned me. There's the other halfling.
He slides right up, sticks a knife in your side, and he, I think you're going to take just a D6, but also give me a Constitution roll.
What, so defy danger Constitution?
Yeah, it's kind of on the fly, custom move Constitution.
11.
The poison does nothing, but you do take a D6 damage. Go ahead and roll that.
Yeah, I got it.
You feel the poison though. How are you able to like resist it? Like, it could just be that you just resist it, but is there anything else going on? Like maybe something about your past or something, your experience with this kind of thing that might help you here?
I think that it needed to be he needed to like get the dagger like all the way in, and Maud just bum rushed him.
Oh, good. Yeah. That's good. I like that. So basically, it's kind of like Maud helped you, which is great, which probably portended a different role than Constitution, but we'll let it. That's fine. It's not important to me. Just give me that scene. What does it look like?
Yeah. So he gets to jump on me. But like as he like stabs the knife in, and he needs to leave it in like a bit longer, just because like I'm a bigger person and he's used to dealing with like halflings or something.
Right.
And like I cry out, and Maud sees, and she like bares her fangs and like starts to rush him. And she's, compared to a halfling, she's actually like a fairly sizable creature. So I think it intimidates him, and he pulls the dagger out and backs off.
Oh, nice. So you're able to resist it long enough. Like as he pulls the dagger out, doesn't get it all the way in, and he backs off because Maud is hissing at him. He's actually going to run as well. I think as he's running away, Nico and Opry, you are just coming up from the underworld when you see this halfling, his knife dripping a little bit of blood, Maud going crazy, all the chaos, and you see the halfling bolting, trying to go for he's just trying to bolt. Maybe there's like a back entrance he's trying to get to. Nico, what do you do?
Well, since Nico was warned about halflings, he was actually here to find one, and there's one just running around, bloody knife. But that's well catch him and ask him some questions. I think Nico pulls out his frost gun, which changed appearance in the session one. It's now like a very small fire extinguisher, just for the purpose of easier way to imagine this. So he just pulls out this mini fire extinguishers and says and shouts at halfling, "Stop right there where you are." I suppose it doesn't stop. So then we see like this like ray of frost just like freezing him so that he cannot escape.
Yeah, I love it. That's great. I guess that's probably field tests that you're doing.
Yeah, I'm more looking to capture him to immobilize him than to deal some damage over here.
Yeah, that's perfect. I think field test is probably the right one then, because you can do you might have to choose like the effect doesn't last long or whatever, right?
Yeah. Nico Blue submit. It's an 8. It's an 8. Choose. But choose 1. Choose 2. Yeah, I think I'm willing to spend a charge on this, and I think while actors are used to like maybe some fake combat, but when someone pulls out a frost gun and shoots some frost, it's definitely going to draw someone wanted attention or put someone in a spot.
I like that. Okay, good. So just give me the scene. What does it look like? How do you catch him?
So he was just about to reach this like back entrance, just as the first like ray freezes his leg, and so he falls. But then he still tries to close away, and then I like freeze his both legs to the floor, and then just stand next to him, and I say, "So, there, little friend, why were you so quick to escape the scene with a bloody knife?"
And he says, fraternal bonds, of course. I don't like it. Manhandles my siblings like that man over there did, and he knows he's caught, right?
Yeah, I just come stumbling over, holding my side. I'm like, little bastard stabbed me, and I hit him with a stick.
nice, good. That's fantastic. I do have a thought for like how what you do goes noticed. I'm gonna hold it in my back pocket for now, though. It's gonna make sense in a minute. Aubrey, what are you doing in the middle of all this?
I think I'm trying to sell the lie, and so whatever, maybe Aubrey is still like nervous that Nico might be suspicious. So I'm definitely loving the fact that there's a halfling with a bloody knife dripping, running across running up the aisles. So I'm like, yeah, get him. That's pretty much it.
Oh, say that again, Aaron. You roboted just a little bit.
Sorry, I'm just like, yeah, get him. You got
nice. So this all fits into your master plan, right? Good. Awesome. We're gonna pick up with that in a second. Let's go back out to the alley. This is pretty dangerous what you're doing, right, Gunter?
Yeah.
So your plan is to make sure I'm clear about this. Take a sword and like basically, it sounded like you were going to try to take him hostage or something, right? Am I understanding?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Boy, that's parlay. I don't know. It's such a weird
parlay.
I mean, your leverage would be I will kill Lord Ashton. I think you got to get your hands on Lord Ashton first. So
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like that's why I was like parlay.
Yeah, it's probably a defy danger. Describe how you're doing it. We'll figure out what the defy danger is.
So I'm right next to him, looming over here. So I just grab him and grab my sword quickly.
Okay, it's a dex.
So I think, yeah, that's a dex. Let me check my dex. It's 0. This is gonna go swimmingly, and it's a 5 because of course it's gonna go swimmingly.
Nice. You guys are that's another thing about this mystery. You guys rolled so many damn misses. Like, it's impossible for you guys to make any traction on anything. All the misses are just forcing everything to just keep going and going and going. Okay. All right. Fantastic. We're coming up on break. I know what's going to happen though. Basically, you do it. You go for Lord Ashton, or you make your move. You're going for it. I think the problem though is that one of the big fellas, they're big, and so their reach is a little further than you're maybe anticipating, right? Because their arms are kind of lopey and long, and so they don't even have to like really even take a step. And one of them is able to like reach out really quickly with its big mattock-sized hand, right? And just like grabs you hard by the skull, right? Wraps his whole hand around your head and is squeezing. and I think you cry out in pain. Brand, I'm going to come back to you for a reaction, but let's take a quick, like, 2-minute break, okay?
All right.
Yeah, I noticed it. The 2 HP before on like the first session. So I think that was the last series.
Oh, oh, okay, interesting.
I think you just left it there from whatever the last series was.
Could be.
Brand, you see the ogre grab Gunther by the head and squeeze. Gunther cries out. You've got a knife sticking in the meaty part of your shoulder. What do you do?
You said there were 2 ogres, right?
2 ogres, 3 orcs, and Lord Ashton, actually, yeah.
So yeah, from where I am, without making any threatening moves, I'm just going to turn to the other ogre and say, really? You're just going to let him step forward and take all the leadership and credit? I thought you were more of a go-getter. You struck me as more of a leader type, but I guess you're just a follower then.
I love it. The classic turn the simpleton giant creatures against themselves. It's a classic move.
I'm gonna try my cutting jibe move.
Oh, how does that work? Yeah, that's great. What does it do?
So when you insult someone, roll charisma.
I love it. Let's go for it.
Let's hope this goes better than the last one. Jesus. 5 + 2 is 7.
Okay, that's better. Choose one.
The target makes a rash decision,
Awesome.
but I'm not choosing the one where he definitely doesn't attack me too.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think like that situation's hot enough to where I don't think it even like I think you being attacked is a thing that's going to happen by someone at some point, right?
It already happened.
I want to play this out just a little bit, right? Like, so he sees you and he looks at you and he's considering what you say, right? And Lord Ashton kind of like composing himself, right? Because he was just grabbed by Gunther, but he's now okay. He just says, ignore him, like kill this person, right? Go in a little deeper. Like, I want you to really, really like make this ogre do the thing.
No, it's fine. You know, your mother, she would be perfectly happy knowing that she raised a perfectly good soldier, like a beta male. That's what she was really going for. You know, your entire ancestry of ogredom was just building up to you taking a back seat to, what's his name over there anymore? I don't even like his tattoos.
And I love it. I think the other ogre, like, you have tapped into a well of simmering, unspoken resentment between the two of them. and he does. He just swings his magic-sized fist and just like pow on the kisser of that other ogre. Gunter, he lets go of you. You're cool.
All right, cool.
So
you're welcome.
We'll come back to it. Things are a little calmed down. You guys have a moment here. I want to just I'm really interested in just finding out like what your next steps are. Shep, you were the one who kind of like saw everything that was happening and you have a better grasp on what's going on right at this precise moment. What are What will you do with the halflings? Like, what's your next move? What you're thinking?
Yeah, so I'm sitting on like a mountain of XP. Can I just go ahead and level up?
No.
Okay. Because that would play into what I was doing. Then I guess I'll have to tie them up and make camp while I interrogate them.
I think as soon as the situation's not hot anymore and you guys have a moment to breathe, you can level up.
Okay.
So you can interrogate them outside the scope of a specific move, right?
Right. So basically, the only reason I was like wanting to level up is so I can take the wild empathy move, so I can speak and understand animals, and I would interrogate all of the barnyard animals about what the two halflings have been doing too, okay. and taking the task over whatever the animals say.
You know what? I like that. I like that as a fictional thing that's going on. I think that's great. You can have the actual proper move in the future, but that's a good. I like that. So, what does that look like? How do you? It's presumably you didn't just learn right now how to talk to animals. How's that developing?
That I didn't like. That I've always known how to talk to animals, or for a long time.
I mean, presumably you've been honing this skill over time, right?
Right. So I think like I tie both of them up, like, and then like bring them over to wherever all the animals are, and whoever wants to be around can be around. And I know that one of them was like skulking around in these pins for a while. And so like I just bring out like one representative animal for each of them.
I mean, like just the actual like communication part of it. Like, how do you know what they're saying?
You just, it's another language. So, so you look at the animals,
So in the movie version of this, you just kind of like lean in and you just like nod, right? Like, is that what we're talking about here? Did David freeze? I think David froze. All right, well, we'll come back to that. Nico.
Yeah, actually what Shep is doing is really tied into what I'm doing, because we were there together. We captured the halfling, so I imagine that we are there together. He's doing whatever he's doing, and I am also wanting to question the halflings. So
good. We'll get to that. And Aubrey, what about you?
So, in order to keep this lie going, they either need to be dead, or I need to be convinced that
they're not going to give up.
Convincing that I also believe that, because I don't know that it's the halflings. I just threw that out there. So I think I think this is also where I'm informing Shep that we found Corwin's body, and so I'm just railing on the halflings. Like, good. What did you do to Corwin? How could you? What could possibly have caused this?
No, it's good. A lot of commotion, a lot of talking, a lot of like what's going on, a lot of like next steps. I love all that. Nico, you once Shep is back in the hangout, we'll continue with the halfling bit. But Prim Glamour approaches you. Prim Glamour, of course, is our creative director at the Legerdemain and a priestess of old King Faunus. And she, if you need to be reminded what she looks like, there's a picture of her on the image board. Mm-hmm. She approaches you, and just in a lull, in a moment where where she can kind of get you off to yourself a little bit, or off by yourself a little bit. She approaches you and she says, "Thank you so much for your help in capturing those miscreants. I'm the cat." Terrified that there are assassins lurking everywhere in our midst now.
Oh yeah. I was just there. I was just searching for something to report the dragon in the basement, and I came out, and I helped capture them.
She says, "I saw what you did to that assassin, that device you used. That's very interesting. I've never seen anything like that. How intriguing."
Oh, I just work over inventing various devices. So as you see, the art can progress in a way of art like you're doing, or like I'm creating devices that will be used in the future.
And I think she's kind of looking at, like, assuming that you have like some of your gadgets hanging on your belt or like on your person somewhere, right? You know, and also having seen you use that little ray gun thing, the freezing thing, she'll say, I'm so scared of such things. This movement as of late toward metal and machinery, and I don't know, I just feel like it's a strange enthusiasm, and I fear where it's going to take us as a people, as a civilization. Our instinct is always to put metal and stone on top of things, and I would just like to get back to something a little bit more natural, you know? I feel like these devices, as interesting as they are, disconnect us from what's really important, from where we come from, you know?
Nico is just standing there and just like, no, I don't get you. This is the future. Like the past is the past. We need to move forward. We need to create those devices, make our lives easier.
Would you say that Nico is, just to kind of remind everyone on screen, like, he's got curious eyes, greasy hair, burnt skin, small body. He doesn't sound super attractive, just at the outset. And yet, she kind of like turns to face you, like almost to like block you off, right? Like maybe you're standing here looking out there, and she kind of positions herself to where you're kind of like, she puts you between a wall and her, right?
Mm-hmm.
She says, you interesting metal-minded little man. I don't know why, but I find you to be so intriguing.
That's you are flattering me. I heard you are the director over here. It's really nice that such a person in such a position finds me flattering. That, of course, yes, you are. Like Nico is like completely like bubbling right now. The situation like doesn't happen to him, so he like tries to like say something nice in a turn, but like comes awkward.
She says, do you know what I think? I think that all the tinkering, the gadgets, the machinery, the fluids, the smoke, the grease, the fire, all of those things that you consume yourself with, I think they're standing in for something. I think they're filling a void that you have inside your heart. They're filling in for something that's missing with you. That's what I think. Do I have it right?
I think you are putting too much mythology to it. I just want to make life easier.
She says, well, I think we've all had a very long day. I'm so grateful for you helping both with the dragon and with the assassination attempt. I plan on retiring to my rooms. What's your plan for the remainder of the night?
I thought about questioning those two halflings about the assassination and finding out is the play in danger because tomorrow is the grand opening.
She turns just as you say that to look at Shep sitting there whispering to pigs and stuff, and says, "I think your friends have it under control. I'm being honest."
Yes, it may look like this. It may look like this. So, how is the play going? Is everything ready for tomorrow, the grand opening?
That's a good cut. I like that. Just leaving you in awkward suspense. Before you cut off, David, I was just asking. honing over time, right? Like this communicating with animals. Obviously, you can talk to Maud. I'd like to know just like what does it look like on screen? Like, do you just like lean in and like nod your head because as the pigs, snuffle in your ear or what? Like, what does this look like?
Yeah, I think it's like it's just like making animal noises to them and then making animal noises back.
Okay, awesome.
But the animals like behave themselves in ways that like it doesn't make sense that they would unless you could communicate with them in a more direct way.
Good.
So like I have a representative animal of each one of them that I just like make animal noises at, and they like wander out and then like sit down like in a half circle around something.
Good. All right.
It's like very clear, like something very strange is going on here.
Good. I love it. That's great. Let's go back out to the alley now. In time and space, this is all kind of like, basically this little encounter with Lord Ashton is happening at the very tail end of whatever happens in the other room, right? So, but yeah, so Gunther, the one ogre just socks the other ogre. You're free. And at this point, everyone's just drawing their weapons, right? Like everyone's just drawing their weapons and ready to go. What do you do, Gunther?
I will say, so it has come to blows and blood, so be it. And I stab Ashton.
Okay. Nice.
Yes.
Good. Hack and slash.
All right, hack and slash. That's a +1, I believe. Yes, it is. And let me mark XP once I'm done re-rolling. That is an 8.
An 8. Awesome. You'll just be trading blows. Go ahead and roll your damage, and he does a little bit to you as well.
All right, my damage is a D8 +1 because of my weapon. That's 3.
Nice. He does a D8 +2.
Okay. That re-rolled as to a 4.
Okay.
So I gain 1 blood because I dealt damage to an enemy.
Awesome. Let's talk about your blood thing. How does that work?
When I deal damage to an enemy, I hold 1 blood, and when I have a moment to rest, I can spend all my blood to feed it to someone else, healing 1d6 plus blood damage.
Nice, good.
And then when I level up, I can take other stuff.
Other things with it. Yeah, that's perfect. Fantastic. I just want to know a little bit about your head state here. Like, just internally, like, what does it mean for you to get a blood? Like, does it make you feel different to draw blood? Does it awaken something inside of you? Like, what's a
trance thing. Like, yeah. I just go into a trance, like, all right, blood, I have it. I can, and when I feed it to other people, we'll get there. But it's like, it's in my sword now, the blood. Even though my sword is kind of bloody already, I don't really like clean it either.
Nice. Well, and Brand, what do you do? Like, a little commotion is broken out now, a little fight. What are you up to?
I'm taking the perfectly reasonable opportunity to run. Like, I was trying to make an opportunity for this drunk, obviously injured idiot to get out of here. And so I think I'm running at Gunter and doing like, come on, run, you fool. But it sounds like that's not really working.
Can I use a move on you?
Oh, sure, go ahead.
I have a sacrifice. When I touch someone and make a demand of them, if they do what you ask, they the ability of my choice and choose one, and it's basically heals. And like, for example, the choices are: they are healed for half your current HP, they are healed of a debility, they are healed of 1 injury, like a broken arm, they gain 1d8 temporary HP.
Oh,
and
nice.
Damage must reduce these before affected.
So on screen, Brand is running up, and you're like seizing him.
Yes.
You say,
"Help me, you fool!" That's my command. It has to be something immediate. So,
where does do you do like blood on my forehead, or where does that hit?
I grabbed your bloody shoulder.
Nice.
Oh, you like
Yes.
stick your hand on the wound, like.
Yes. Yes.
Nice, nice.
What do you think that feels like inside when you make a demand on someone? Like, what would Brand feel?
So you know that you will be invigorated if you follow the demand.
All right.
Because it's something about this man makes you think that. Like he
I'm-
seems like a weird kind of holy man as well, so
Sure, the gods have sent me someone to strike down Lord Ashton. I'm into it.
Indeed. I like how we just resolve your character story arc immediately in the first like. Well, so what do you do, Brad?
So
Well, so first of all, you heal him,
I'm
right?
yeah, I'm gonna take the ability to do so. So I'll take an int condition.
Okay.
And I've only taken 3 damage so far, so the temporary hit points would probably be better.
Let me roll that d8. You have 6 temporary hit points.
Nice.
Awesome. I love that. What do you do, Brad? How do you respond to this command, this demand?
So let's see. I have I have an easily concealed dagger. So I will smile and say finally and turn around. I'll also stab Lord Ashton.
Nice.
That's exciting.
Hack and slash.
Oh, I'm bad at that. But that's a 9. And
Okay.
I dealt 8 damage.
Wow, that's really good. How much did you do before, Gunther?
I did 3 before.
I'm going to give you control of this scene, Brand. You can basically describe what you do to Lord Ashton, and then I'll give you the option of I'll just in turn what he does. I've got a move to make with him.
Oh god, did we just murder Lord Ashton in like 2 hits?
No, you didn't. But I'm just
okay.
I'm mostly just trying to like find an off ramp into this fight because there's like 6 enemies. It'll take 100 years, right? So I think what we'll do is okay. So he is going to you're going to hurt him. Go ahead and hurt him. Do what you're going to do. How much damage did you do? It was 8, you said?
Yes.
Awesome. He is actually going to backhand you like really like with a heavy just he's got like a kind of a gauntlet on, right? And he just like just smacks you right like across the cheek, right? And you go reeling. I think it even like probably maybe it knocks you out, right? Or at least like causes you to be a little groggy, stunned, or whatever. You slam up against the concrete, right? But here's the thing. He's injured enough to where he's basically like getting ready to run. Like Gunther, you've got orcs and ogres all around you, and you see that Lord Ashton is injured. He's knocked away Brand, and he's bolting. Gunther, think about that. We'll come back to it. Aubrey. the whole pig whisperer thing is happening, and that's all going on. Not sure like how useful you can be in that regard. And there will be some information traded from the animals. That's all going to happen. No big deal. You said you were also questioning the halflings or pretending to question the halflings, right? Like trying to like be put on a thing, right?
Yeah. So I think what I'm doing is I'm putting on a bit of a show. I'm not laying it on too thick, but I'm trying to put on a bit of a show for Nico. And I guess once I see Nico's distracted, I'm doing the actual interrogation, which is when I look into someone's heart in search of a secret.
Nice.
I move the heart's sorrow. And so I'm trying to use some of my psionic abilities to actually get the answers that I'm looking for about their motives.
Yeah, that's perfect. Go ahead and roll that.
It's a 7 plus 2. That's a 9.
Let's read the move.
Excuse me. When you look into someone's heart in search of a secret, roll plus wisdom. On a 10 plus, choose 2. 7 to 9, choose 1. The secret is presented with greater context. The secret is something you could possibly know otherwise, however unlikely that might be. The secret can easily be used to gain leverage for parlay.
So what do you want to know? Or which one do you choose?
Oh, man. I think Aubrey's trying to work the scenario, so I think she wants to gain leverage for parlay. But I don't know what that would be for at this stage.
Leverage for parlay, you said?
Yeah.
Awesome.
But if that doesn't fit in the scene, then I guess...
no, I think it will. The secret is they do work for Lord Ashton. That's confirmed. They were trying to assassinate this young male actor so that Lord Ashton can propose Stenton as a replacement for this young male actor. And if Lord Ashton knew that somehow they betrayed him on this, they'd be goners.
Okay.
Shep, you're talking to animals. I'm enjoying all that. I'm enjoying the talking to animals thing. That's all really good. I am going to give you until you have the actual I'm just going to give you like a I don't know. I don't think I want to roll here. I think I just want to talk through this one. You're going to learn something really similar. Okay. You're going to learn that like the animals saw before they were being brought to the back, they saw the one halfling talking to Lord Ashton in secret, which confirms that they're working for Lord Ashton. No problem. Right. And you can assume that like they intended to assassinate the young male actor for some reason that Lord Ashton wants. Who knows why? You don't need to know why. I mean, they don't know why, and it's not, it's enough for you to know they were trying to kill him at this point. You can put all that together. I think they saw something else, though. I think they saw something else that maybe Lord Ashton is not even aware of, that the two of them are aware of. Maybe there's like a double cross going on with them. I don't know. Just out of character, what do you think?
So you're suggesting that they're duplicitous and they're not following what Ashton wants them to do?
They have their own duplicity, right? The scenario is called Legerdemain.
I think that like one of the animals that I've brought here actually like understands people talk. Okay. So it overheard them. And knew that they were supposed to kill this person. So it just watched them, and it watched them have like several opportunities to kill him, and they didn't. They were kind of taking their time about it, dragging it out.
Oh, good. I like that. That's really good. That's fantastic. So you know that they were like maybe kind of reluctantly doing this or whatever, or like, yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. I guess the thing we need to figure out then is like why, like what might be the greater context here. And out of character, I don't know. Like this is like new fiction, because in character, like as a GM, the halflings had a principal purpose here, but I like the idea of there being a double cross. And so, I mean, what do we think about the idea of them like secretly working for Prim, possibly? That's a possibility. That could get complicated though. It could just be that, I don't know.
I don't know what all's going on with Stenton, but maybe they want him dead too for some reason.
Oh, I like that. They're trying to actually, they were not just trying to do whatever Lord Ashton wanted. They also want to kill Stenton at some point.
Yeah, like I think Ashton was the key to get in here and then eventually double cross him and kill Stenton.
Oh, good. I like that. I think that's really good. Let's roll with that. So that's great. What do you do with that information?
I'd probably confront them with it.
Okay, nice. All right, use it as a parlay, I guess, or use it as leverage.
Yeah, to try and figure out who sent them to do the things that they're doing.
Good. All right, we'll have that in a minute. Meanwhile, Nico. Actually, let's wrap up the alley thing. Let's get that done.
Right.
So, Gunter, Lord Ashton is running. What do you do?
I chase after him.
Okay, so you're gonna like try to escape them to chase after him.
Yeah.
I like that. They're going to probably like try to block your way. How would you try to get past them?
I'm assuming the ogres are still fighting each other.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
So it's just the orcs. So
Good.
I'm gonna try to just rush past them by knocking them over with my momentum.
Nice. Do a defy danger strength.
All right. That's a 10.
Nice. You will be able to escape. You'll be able to push past them and indeed grab Lord Ashton. Just give me that whole scene.
All right. So yeah, I rush past them. I bowl the orcs over. I grab Ashton by the wound again, and I make him look deep into my freaking eyes. Like, I'm gonna do this thing. So your uncle, tell me more about him.
So I love it. So you like grab him, spin him around, and like just
Yes.
have this like really intense like
Pretty much like
that's really good. Yeah, I like that. That's actually really good. I'm just going to keep rolling forward with this. He says something about your power, something about your connection to blood is overriding his good sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he says, Uncle Skiltor was planning for his return to this world long before he died. He knew the disease he was afflicted with would take him, and he set our family to the task of bringing him back, and that is what I intend to do. I plan to fulfill this. The thinning of the veil will be performed, and he will return through the gate.
And okay, out of character, do I know about the whole Old King Faunus situation?
I don't think you do. No.
All right, so very well then. Even though I think it's futile, because I do know for myself, as for a fact, that it is possible to go through the gate, through the veil, via other means. Fine, and I let go of him.
He says, so you have no interest in what I'm doing here?
I know enough now.
Yes.
That does not mean I have no interest. I'm just a bit curious as to why they needed to know such a simple fact of life.
Yeah. That's an interesting thing. So you're actually kind of like serving the purposes of the secret masters here by like just letting him do the thing, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, I wanted to do something with my character related to that, because it's like one of the compendium class requirement for one of my archetypes, or whatever they're called, is that I died and came back to life. So I wanted to tie that in and say my character already had that happen, so he knows it's possible. It's just it's just so he's a bit confused as to why the others need to, like, why the secret masters want to know that.
Do you want to spell lore?
It's possible, because it is possible. I've experienced this for a fact.
Yeah, maybe spell lore.
All right, and good, because that's the one thing I took a -1 to. All right. That is an 11. Box card.
The interesting thing is that vis-a-vis this ritual, vis-a-vis what the secret masters are interested, vis-a-vis what Skouter Rune and Lord Ashton's plan is that, yes, there are, of course, people can be brought back to life. You know this, right?
Yes.
That's definitely true. It could be the case, though, sometimes it could be the case that Skilter Rune is not actually in the land of the dead. It might be somewhere else, right? That's a possibility. That's a total possibility. You don't actually know if Skilter Rune is like physical, right? You don't know that.
Sure.
The useful thing here is it could be that it's not so much about like bringing someone back to life, but rather it's about bringing forth someone that is trapped in another dimension, right? And that's what the Shadow Court is interested in. How do you put that together? How do you know?
I think, even though my mind is hazy from the whole situation, I think it's like, okay, so this is not a uncommon thing that people die and are brought back to life.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's common, but it's not unheard of, right? Yeah.
It's not completely, it's so, that was basically the next logical step. Like, they must be trying to bring something other than the dead.
Right. That's the key insight. They're trying to bring something that's not like dead. So what's the story or rumor or myth that you've heard of something like that happening, like someone crossing over from another plane of existence?
I think I've heard of the not sure if to mention another old king that for some reason went, like, what are the planes of existence? Do we know?
We just, I don't know, make it up on the fly, whatever you think.
They came from a plane of like one of the old kings. I do not remember their name, but they actually came from another plane of existence before they became a king here.
I see. Yeah. So it's not that like these are dead entities, it's that they're like trapped, right? And you've heard stories of like these like this is a thing.
Well, no, it's more like this old king in particular came here to become a king.
Oh, I see. Got it. Okay, good. In any case, that's the answer. The answer there is that they're not interested in bringing something back to life. They're interested in bringing something over from the other side, from another plane.
All right. So, may I ask, Lord Ashton, do you know where your uncle is right now?
And he kind of
after a moment of realization in my eyes, of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. He says, yes, I do. And he would be most grateful for anyone who helped him return from that place.
What is the name of the place?
And he smiles, and I think we're going to cut there for a minute.
All right.
Because I don't know. We'll figure it out. The orcs and ogres disband when the city guard reacts to the commotion. They run away. Brand, they'll help you up. They find you. They bring you to. They'll rouse you, bring you to. Whatever Lord Ashton says, we'll find out later. But I think Lord Ashton will eventually, assuming you let him go, Gunther, Lord Ashton takes off into the night. And now we're in a situation where everything is calmed down. It's not hot. You've got a couple of captured halflings who are engaging in like double crosses and duplicity. You've got a very scared cast, and your friend Corwin is dead down in the basement. And so that's kind of the situation. I think you can all be kind of on scene together as you wish. I think what I want to do is I just want to give you guys the opportunity to frame up scenes as you want, and we'll kind of go from there. But in terms of like the Shadow Court's mission, conferring with Gunther for even a little bit will solve the problem. We'll solve it, right? Like it's done. It just becomes a matter now of like, what do you want to do with this information? Basically, the short end of it is Prim Glamour is trying to bring back old King Faunus. Lord Ashton's trying to bring back his uncle. The secret masters of the Shadow Court are clearly interested in bringing something back, right? At the very least, they're curious about what's about to happen, right? And those are all things that we know. You guys are tasked with the very basic responsibility of figuring out what the hell Prim Glamour is up to. That's done. You've solved it. I think I just want to get a read on what everyone's thinking about next steps. If you want to frame up some scenes, we should do that too. But just a quick sort of pass around the table. Aubrey, you are newly committed to bringing the kings and queens of old, which I find super interesting. What's your thinking on all of this? What's your next step?
don't know about my next step in those regards. I think my interrogation is still of trying to figure out who Stenton is, and what is the relationship between Stenton, Ashton, and Corwin. Because while I'm trying to spin this lie to Nico, I'm still curious what Ashton's game is. I don't know what his deal is.
Maybe framing up a scene with Brand would be great here, because Brand knows who Stenton is, right? That could be pretty handy. I'll just throw it over to you, Brand. What you're thinking about next steps?
So yeah, I'm obviously really interested in getting Stenton out of here alive, if I can. But
sorry.
Yeah.
Where are you? Well, you're knocked out. Are you unconscious when I'm having the conversation with Lord Ashton?
Yes, I think the city guard comes and retrieves him after that. So.
Yeah.
All right.
And at the very least, you were on the other side of an ogre fight, so I couldn't have heard much no matter what.
All right. So I let Ashton go. I go over to Brand, if that's okay, and I want to have a scene of me explaining to Brand what's going on. Well, not what's going on, but like at least thank him and pretty much have the scene of pretty much convincing him to join us.
Awesome. Can we just hand wave that and just say that happened? I don't know how interested I am in that scene.
Well, I also have, I think, a flag.
Oh, okay.
No, it's no. That's never mind. That's never mind. None of the flags are specifically for that. But yeah, we can hand wave that.
Well, I'm curious after all of this revelation that Gunter's been through. Like, what does Gunter present as the Shadow Court side here? What are you wanting me to sign on to?
I think I just want your help in figuring out what's going on here, because Gunter is mostly curious. He has no he only wants to follow what the secret masters want, because because he has nowhere else to go, because he died once. Whoever put him here clearly wants him dead, because the missions are so dangerous. So it's like, sure, I'll do whatever. So I'm guessing I'm just talking to Brandon, trying to see if he wants in, and then doing the convincing him to do so.
I mean, I'm trying to find out what's going on here as well. I need information, and I'm trying to stop whatever Lord Ashton's doing. And as far as my conscious mind remembers, so are you.
I'm gonna say to hold off until after the play. I'm gonna try to convince you of that.
That one may be harder.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to have the scene.
You guys can, if you guys want to frame up that scene, you can have that scene. I want to just continue going around the table and figuring out what everyone's, just kind of what's going on. Shep, you said Shep and Aubrey, it sounds like you guys were at some point you wanted to like hard interrogate the halflings, right?
Yeah,
I think information that you've got.
Yeah, I think we're looking for similar information, though subtly distinct information. Sounded like Aubrey wanted to know what the relationships were going on between some related parties. I want to know why they want to kill Stenton, what Stenton is, because I have an idea of what Stenton is. And I want to know, I want to either confirm that or see if they even know. I don't so much care like who sent them. I just want to know that.
Yeah. And Aubrey, you're also like kind of like pressing your advantage here against them, right? Because you're using your information about like what they're up to with Lord Ashton to get them to talk.
Right. I want to know about Stenton as a way to get to Ashton, not necessarily Stenton in and of himself.
Yeah, I like it. This sounds like a parlay with aid, basically, I think. I don't know if I want to roleplay the scene out. I just want to get the roll on the table and kind of see what happens. I'm going to go from there. Why don't you roll the parlay, Opry, and then aid from aid in the fiction mechanically if you need it, or dice if you need it.
I will need it. It's a 6.
Okay.
You broke up just right when you said what the result was.
6.
I have a 6.
Okay, so you want to give me a charisma aid there?
Sure. 10.
Nice. That bumps you up to a 7. So you guys are like, you've got them. I'm imagining you guys have them kind of separated somewhere in the back of the house, right? And you're kind of like putting the pressure on them and all that stuff, right? And the sister eventually says, "If we tell you the truth of why we're here, will you let us go?" You guys are muted if you're talking.
We've done this once before, me and your brother.
She says, "I'm willing to talk, but only if you agree to let us go. And even then, you have to let my brother go first, as a sign of goodwill, as a gesture of your promise."
I gotcha. I'll untie the brother and lead him out of the room.
You can lead him out of the playhouse and be like, and wait till he's down the road if you want, right?
I lead him out of the room and I'm probably gonna kill him.
Okay, so you do enough to okay, that's good. I like that. In which case, she's gonna leave. She's gonna be left with you, right? She says, "Good." She says, "Friend, you and I aren't so different, as it turns out.
Do tell.
In the grand scheme of things, we work for the same people."
And who do you work for?
"My brother and I are phantom courtiers."
What does the Phantom Court see in the return of Faunus?
Oh, no. We want very much to prevent that from happening. We failed to completely eliminate Stenton once. We're having another go at it.
Stenton is the gate.
Stenton is the gate. Lord Ashton knows this. We are pretending to help him, of course, but Stenton will not end up on the stage if the Phantom Court has anything to do with it.
Shep, you're killing the other halfling, right?
Yep.
How does that go, Shep? Give me the coup de grace here.
Yeah, so he's untied. I'm leading him out, and I'm walking on my stick because he stabbed me, and I'm like, you stabbed me, and I believed that I promised you something if I ever saw your face again. And I think he turns to try and react, and I just raise my stick up, and it has that spring blade in it, and I just get him across the throat with it.
Nice. And he dies. He bleeds out. Real quick, Opry. I mean, so what about you? I mean, you don't know that. You don't know what. I mean, you can probably assume what Shep is doing, but you don't know that for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna take her out.
What do you do?
Is this the one? Is this halfling frozen, or is that?
This is the tied up sheep halfling. Yeah. The sister.
Okay. I think I'm gonna make I've let her go, I've gotten the information from her. No, I'm gonna make it like she's tried to escape. I'm gonna slit her throat.
Nice.
I'm gonna stage the scene. I'm not necessarily gonna lie to Shep about what's happening. I'm just covering my tracks.
Yeah, good. Yeah, so just to be clear, the Phantom Court, they were trying to kill Stenton at Lord Gaul's ball. They're trying to kill Stenton here, right? They do not want Stenton to end up on the stage.
Can we ask one more? Can we ask what happens if the gate is opened? Who returns if the gate is opened?
Yeah, she might have let slip or told you that basically once the play is complete, they believe that anyone who knows what to do can call forth anyone from across space and time through the gate.
Yeah. So I'll come back and I'll help you set the scene, as it were, so that it looks like both of them tried to get the better of us and we had to kill them.
You had to kill them, yeah. Nico van Smaug. Prim Glamour is really up in your business like this whole time. You know, she is, while your two companions are doing their business, doing what they're doing, she's very much like trying to occupy your time, and she's very much saying like, come on, just take the night off with me. Let me give you a bath.
Yeah, I think after some consideration, Nico remembers that his friend body is in the basement, and it's like immediately like kills his mood for everything, and he just says, yeah, maybe we will celebrate the grand opening, but I really have to go. I'm sorry, madam. I will see you later. And I'm just like pushing past by her.
Just pushing past her. Yeah, that's good. Good. I like that. You're going down to the underworld. So what do you do?
Yeah, I'm not necessarily going there because unfortunately the way I played Nico is the one guy who doesn't know anything what is going on here. Mm-hmm. So, and I suppose, I don't know. Yeah.
Are you just trying to get away from her, or?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just getting away from Prim Glamour. But as to where I go and what I do, I don't know, because the way we play it, like Nico's the one guy who doesn't know anything. Everyone has their own inner agendas. I don't really know, actually.
So you go downstairs to the underworld, and you do have Corwin's body to cope with. Everyone has just left Corwin down there dead. I mean, granted, things are moving quickly, and there's a lot of hot situations, so it's not totally unreasonable that they would get to Corwin later. But I think, yeah, I don't think she's done with you, right? I think that's the main thing here is, for whatever reason, she's super interested in you. And it has a lot to do with your gadgetry, and there could be more to the story too, but she's definitely interested. And I think when you go down to the underworld, you go down to that space, and you're just trying to get away from her, what are you thinking about her? Like, we had your awkward moment with her, but like just in your mind, like, what are you thinking about Prim Glamour?
I think Nika knows that she's to be investigated. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he doesn't want to like let her know that Shadow Court is investigating her. What do I think about her? Not really much. Like resurrection, stuff like that. Nika actually is like planning. Yeah, does even Nico know that there's a resurrection going on over here? He doesn't.
You may not have had time to put that together with the rest of the group. That's true. But just as far as like Prim goes, like, do you trust her?
Of course, no. I was told by the Shadow Court that she's the agent of the enemy.
Was she right about like the reason why you're so focused on your workshop and your machines and stuff?
I think Nico just follows the path of like every inventor. He just like focuses on the future and and harnessing the energy. I don't think he has time to think about why he's doing it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna let you sit down there for a minute while I think about what's next. I have some thoughts. I think the really important thing is I think we need to get you all together. That's kind of what I'm trying to angle for, is getting you all together so you can figure out what you guys want to do.
Yeah, that was Gunther's next move.
Yeah.
Well, after talking to Brand.
Yeah. Well, let's get that scene done. So you guys are together out there in the alley.
All right.
So I think basically, like, Brand, his ultimate goal is to find Stenson, get him out. And so I think he'll agree to go along with whatever you want to do, on the idea that at the end, like, he's going to grab Stinson and get him out. He may not tell you that, and that's probably going to ruin any sort of gate-related plans of anybody. But yeah, that's sort of where I'm at right now.
All right.
Good.
But outwardly, he will agree to like go with you and get deeper into this. Sure.
Yeah. All right. And Gunther will agree to that. And basically meet up with the others, discuss what happened, discuss the whole situation with the uncle.
Yeah, assuming that you guys are sharing, I'm imagining the only information that's being kept away from the group is just Aubrey's intention to see the old kings return to the world. So apart from that little tidbit, there's no reason why you guys wouldn't share everything you know, right?
Except also the fact that Brand is going to maybe try to interfere. I think that's another.
Sure.
No matter what plans y'all lay out, my plan is to grab Stinson
and get the fuck out of there. Yeah.
Okay.
I've already seen that's maybe not the best thing to lay out there, so no, I'm not laying that out.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's just say it's after everyone is like gone off to their, the actors have rooms there in the theater. Prim Glamour has a room in the theater. Everyone goes off to just to just go rest, to get ready for the next day, to shake off the shock of this evening's events. And I think probably the city guard comes to collect the bloody halfling bodies at some point, right?
Yeah, I will have removed their Phantom Court tattoos from them.
Yeah, that's fair. Actually, I don't think you found one. Incidentally,
either one of them had a Phantom Court tattoo.
No, they might have been like they might have been like kind of tertiary, right? To the or a side, like not quite Phantom Courtier. They claim to be Phantom Courtiers, but maybe they were like hired by the Phantom Court or something, right? Who knows? It's not unheard of for them to all have tattoos.
I still have the move where I drink blood or feed it to someone else. I wanted to feed it to Brand during that whole thing. During the whole convincing scenario. If he accepts, it heals you for 1d6 plus blood damage.
Sure. I'm still only a little bit down.
I mean, you're all going to get the benefit of make camp anyway. So, regardless.
You heal 4. So.
Okay. So sorry. So yeah. So the city guard comes. They deal with the murdered halflings. All that situation goes. I think there are probably a few cast members and crew members who are kind of still up. Maybe they've gone off to different corners of the theater where they're smoking pipe leaf and drinking, right? And all of you were there. You're there. No one questioned your presence because some of you were there doing jobs ostensibly, and yeah. So that's the situation. Let's just have the scene with all of you together, and I just want to know, I just want to see how this plays out. If you have any flags that would be hit, that'd be great. But we'll come back. We'll do that scene. Let's take 5 right now, and let's just figure out how you want to wrap this up. Okay.
Patrick, I wanted to ask you if you are okay with Nico trying to bring Corwin back to life, because it seems there is an operation of summoning people from the other side. Nico thought about a side project. Well, the body's still here. I can make something up, and who knows? Maybe Corwin will reset to his factory default of not knowing his past again.
I like that a lot. That sounds really fun.
Cool.
Yeah, and to be clear, while my character is desperately trying to protect Stinton, I'm totally okay with any of the many outcomes of Stinton being used as a gate or whatever, because those all sound fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if we know how to call Corwin back, but that's probably something that's possible. But I'm afraid the whole gate thing is really just Stinton's gonna become possessed by whatever we call back. I think that's what's gonna happen. But that's just me jumping to a conclusion based on the information we have.
Hey, all right. Shall we talk out of character for a little bit?
Sure.
Sounds like you guys already were, but I didn't catch it all. So what do you guys think? How do we want to try to stick the landing here? Or do we want to just take some kind of decisive action? Or, I don't know. Just what's everyone's thinking right now?
Well, Pavel, you started.
Nico's idea is depending if I notice the rune on the floor or not. Nico's idea is to build something that will also channel the energy from whatever gate or energy is being used here to try and bring Corwin back. So in cooperation with that, I think Nico will go to Gunter, because I think right now Nico completely doesn't trust Opry and does for anyone else. So he will go to Gunter and offer her this. Gunter is and offer him this risky plan of trying to bring Corwin back to life.
I love it. That's a great plan. Yeah.
As far as me going forward, in character, obviously I'm striving for Stinton and getting him out safe. But out of character, I realize he's central to pretty much all of these gate scenarios in whatever way.
You can steal him away.
And I'm totally okay with the ending being that he does get used in this ritual, he does get used to open up a gate somehow, because all of these other options sound really awesome too.
So in character you wouldn't want it to happen. Out of character, you love the idea of it happening. I do too. But I also like the idea of an alternate plan. I think it's a great idea too. Yeah.
Gunter, I don't think Gunter would right now Gunter is more interested in I'm not sure if he wants the masters to come back or not, or the masters to I don't think he's entirely convinced of all the Shadow Core thing, so he's up for whatever plan might happen. So he wanted the Shadow Core wants, or the Shadow Masters, the Secret Masters, want someone who is not dead to come from the veil. So, but Gunter isn't really interested in that. Gunter wants more, he's just there for the ride mostly, so he's fine with whatever plan Nico wants to do.
Yeah. Any other thoughts?
Shep probably just wants to spirit Stinton away and return Stinton to the masters, because I think even though the masters think that they want to just see what would happen, the fact that the Phantom Court is here and the Phantom Court is actively trying to destroy Stinton might mean that Stinton would be more valuable to the masters than seeing this situation through. But
yeah, so basically the idea is basically the Shadow Court takes control of Stinton at that point, right?
Right.
Yeah. And mind you, the handlers, like your higher ups in the Shadow Court, don't know what the secret controllers of the Shadow Court even want, because those individuals never telegraph it to you guys. They keep you guys totally in the dark on that stuff. It's a rare glimmer that Gunther was able to receive by incorporating his own blood into speaking with the shadows.
Right. That said, if
the Phantom Court was into it, you guys are not, right?
Well, yeah. That said, like if I was convinced that we had an honest shot, or if Shep was convinced that we had an honest shot at like bringing Corwin back to life by doing something, I'd probably be down for that.
Yeah.
Gunther will sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, Opry, you're the wild card here, right? I mean, you can actually go along with the Corwin plan and still try to be serving the old King Faunus plan, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's good. I love it. I think this is great. I like this turn of events. I think this is really good. So basically, you would, because Prim already thinks that it's a physical prop that she needs anyway, right? And so she doesn't know that it's a ritual sacrifice that's going on, right? And so, or that you need this living person, right? So yeah, I think it's a really good plan. I like it if everyone's on board with it. I think the getting situation is not going to be hard. I think Lord Ashton is away long enough in the night to where you guys can make a move before his people can make a move with Stenton. And so I guess I would like to have the scene between Stenton and Brand, though. I'd like to just see that on screen because we don't know what kind of connection you have with Stenton, if you have any connection with him, right?
And do we know, does Stenton remember anything? It seemed at one point that his memories were erased.
Yeah, he only knows that like all he can remember is just from when he was a little child. He must have remember like his early childhood, right? And he just knows that he was always told that he suffers from a terrible curse, that Lord Ashton's family protected him and put these tattoos on his body in order to supposedly protect him from the curse, right? And he just believes it. Like he just has no, and he's clearly like, I mean, it's a total Stockholm syndrome situation, right? With Stenton. That could be a tricky thing, right? That could be a tricky thing, convincing him that like, hey, look, you've been duped your whole life, right? So I feel like that's definitely a scene that needs to happen. That sounds really good to me, and I think it also gives Brand a little bit of closure, especially if we're bringing back Corwin, possibly. So, I like that as well. I think that's all really good.
I was thinking as far as like material progression to figuring out how to like twist this towards Corwin. We could make some sort of realization about like the wand and find some notes or something up in Skilter Rune stuff.
Yeah. So the Skilter Rune situation is, that's where the script for the play was hidden. That's where it was in that trunk. The Wand of Fireballs is mostly just like almost like a joke of Skilter's in a way. Like how authors like take their manuscripts and toss them in the trash, The Wand of Fireballs is just kind of like a little joke of like, I'm going to cast a fireball on all this and burn it right up because it's garbage, deserves to be burned, right? There's no deeper connection to that, apart from the fact that you just have a sweet Wand of Fireballs now. But
I mostly just meant maybe there was some sort of like deeper information or notes to find in his chest up there.
Oh, sure,
if
that's
not,
fine.
That's
oh
fine.
No, I think that's fine. Yeah, if you want to, yeah, that's a perfectly legit question for sure. Yeah. Cool.
This all sounds like things we could be doing around as we're like having a camp, for the night.
Yeah, you guys can get the benefit of resting. You can get your hit points back. You can level if you need to. I know people have been anxious to level and get all that going. I like the idea of like the precise moment that you level up, Shep. You hear a couple of pigs talking shit about you behind your back. That's just kidding. Yeah, that's great. This is all good. I love all that. I think this is a great idea. Is everyone on board with the general idea of like, hey, we're going to help you with your play, Prim, and then bringing back Corwin?
Yeah.
I like it. I want to.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
If we're going to have a downtime scene, I'd like to have like all of us being around and I'll tell a story about Brand because I've probably seen him out and about before. Hit that flag.
I like it. Let me think if there's anything else, any other like little preliminary matters before we get going. I just want to say that like what I think is really interesting about this gate plan, this building a new gate, is it seems pretty obvious that like Skilter Rune and or his followers could have been making this preparation already. Like, why didn't they just do that? Why they need this individual, this human, right? And I kind of like the idea of Skilter just didn't possess the sort of like the technical skill with as far as like machinery and magic goes to make a prop version of the gate work, right? And that's kind of where Nico comes into play, right? Because Nico has a much finer understanding of like the intersections of those two things, right? And so Skilter's magic is more like necromancy, right? Like he understands that that's the way to do it, right? And so it also like kind of hits on a tiny little bit of theme we've been kind of suggesting with Prim Glamour, which is we're going to use machinery and technical expertise to do this thing, right? Which I find really interesting. So, okay, so I just want to kind of throw that out there because I think because I'm sitting here wondering like, well, why didn't Skilter just build the prop? Why didn't he just build the gate? And I think it's because he literally didn't know how.
Needed an artificer.
Yep, he's an artificer, or all he knows is like it's pretty clear that he knows blood magic and body magic and necromancy, right? So that all makes sense. Let's have that scene that you want. Go for it.
All right. So yeah, I think like we're just like the constables have come and retrieved the bodies, and we have hidden Corwin away from them so that they don't take him. And we're like kind of resting because it's been a day. And I think there's a hearth with a fire in it that we're all around. Sure, they'd have multiple fireplaces in a big building like this. And this new guy, Brand, is there. And I keep getting like this, it's just on the back of my mind. Like I've seen this guy before. And I'm sitting there and Maud is stretched out in front of the fire. And I'm sitting there, I'm like preening one of these chickens. It was the chicken that like had watched the two and given me all that good information. So I'm preening it out of gratitude. And then the chicken like clucks and I'm like, that's right. You're the one, aren't you? You did that whole performance. The whole performance, a one-man play with 20 characters at the inn.
You saw that. Yes, it was. It's always been a dream of mine to tell the story of my complicated history and very many interesting people that I've run across in the years. Would you like me to do some of the voices?
No, it started a fight, and I barely got out of there.
People had strong reactions to the emotions in the play.
But I heard every time you performed that play, every time a fight always broke out. Is that not true?
Yes, it touches a universal note in people, it seems. They just can't contain themselves.
Ugh. I can't believe you're here. This is really something else. But don't be making any more of that. We've had enough trouble tonight as it is.
I wouldn't say anything that would cause more fights to break out. Why would you even mention that?
Well, this chicken saw you. It saw you rehearsing that particular play.
Look, all I'm saying is an actor has to be ready. Sometimes the disasters happen in the theater. Sometimes a play falls apart, and a good actor can step forward and save the whole night for everyone with the right monologue.
Well, hopefully it won't come to that. And like, I look at the chicken, and the chicken looks at me like very concerned.
Good. Are you satisfied with that?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that's a good scene. Fabulous. Did you guys level? Did you guys do everything you needed to do for all that? Heal your hit points, half your max HP, get that back if you need it. Good.
So I'm just thinking that because we decided that we wanna, everyone wants to be in on trying on possibility to bring in Corwin back.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I will actually like try to talk Shep into taking a lead on it. So maybe as we are sitting there, as I like unveiled my plan, I'm just looking at Shep, and Nico is saying, Shep, so I can like build this prop for the morning. It will be no problem. But yesterday I didn't like really have a good connection with Prim, so I'm not sure if she will be up to listening to me. So we need someone to convince her, take the actors to play into it. Just like make everyone do what they need. We need someone to I'll be down in the basement working on the device to bring Corwin. We need someone to lead the action up here. And I think that you have the perfect position as I'm a handler. Everyone likes you, and you have already placed in the group of actors.
I'm holding the chicken upside down, trying to get mites off its feet, and it flaps its wings, and I cluck at it to make it calm down, and so I can help it. And then I look at you, and I'm like, had a bad? Didn't she offer to bathe you? Isn't that what you told me?
You don't need to tell everyone this, but I tell her to not tonight. So I think tomorrow it will be a bad moment for me to come to her and try to convince her to use this prop that I just built. I think it would be far better. You have she'll already seen you talking to the chickens, so you will be just continuing your play of this weird guy.
And I put the chicken back in the coop and just so you offended her by refusing her offer, and now you need the crazy chicken man to fix it for you.
Yes. Everyone has his role, and since I have to maintain the device, Opry needs to make sure that actors don't suspect us. We need you to coordinate this everything. Nobody will suspect you.
I put my hand on your shoulder, and I'm like, and you're convinced this is going to get Corwin back?
I'm not convinced. I think since this whole thing is to bring some old dead king, I think it's far easier to just reach to the possible soul of Corwin, which probably maybe didn't went so far back as a soul of a king dead for 1,000 years. It might still be around, and we have the body, so it will be far easier to take the soul and convince it to get to the body rather than bring someone dead 1,000 years.
All right, fine. I'll do it. Just get this situation sorted out. Ask if anyone else knows about maybe helping the soul find the body. I don't know, but I want Corwin back.
I'd like to interject and just say that the thing that Prim Glamour might object to is the fact that you're going to have this gigantic machine on the fucking stage, right? This cobbled together mechanical thing that's going to interrupt her beautiful pastoral fantasy, right? That could be a problem, right?
But if Opry shared with us that she's looking for a gate, we will give her a gate.
I know. I agree. No, I think just resolving this basic tension is going to be the goal there.
Yeah,
that sounds really good. Fantastic. So I have a custom move in mind for the building of this gate, unless there's a more appropriate artificer move. If there's a more appropriate artificer move that maybe you're taking for second level or whatever, I'm open to that. But otherwise, I do have a custom move ready to go. So.
There is just jury when you quickly fix your purpose or fabricate a device on a spot. Describe what you're doing with it and roll int. That's all I have.
So quickly makes sense if we comparatively quickly, like you need to get this thing together with a little preparation. I think that's probably an accurate way to interpret that. The results are it'll work, but not for long. It works, but there's that's perfect. That's basically what my move was. So go ahead and roll plus int. I just want to see how that's going to go because that might inform how the fiction proceeds.
Yeah, so I think the fiction is that after this scene, after everything is talked through, Nico probably doesn't go to sleep. He just goes to the basement and builds the fake gate. We're all selected. Oh, it's a 10.
Nice.
So I think Nico spends the rest of the night building on some wooden block. He repaints the rune from the floor, and then makes some small holes in the ceiling of the basement and the floor of the stage so that some cables can just go down and there is the machinery that will then take the energy from the runes on the gate and transfer this to the Cohen body. But on the stage it will be like this wonderful gate with runes and wood and some fake stones.
I love it. Okay, good. Aubrey, you're in with Prim, right? And so I think I'd like to go ahead and just pick up on this. Actually, let's do the Stenton thing first, and then we'll come back to that. But I love the gate is ready to go. That's beautiful. Brand, the Stenton situation. How does that go? Frame it up.
So I don't know. I think maybe I've gotten close to him before and not managed to convince him or break through. Whatever Ashton's done to him over the years.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, I think I need to I corner him and I try and convince him again. And I think it's sort of retreading old arguments of I don't have a brother, I don't know who you are sort of thing.
Yeah.
But
let's just pick up from there.
Yeah.
So he says, it's you again. I've seen you before. Have you come to tell me again that I was taken from my family as a small child and that you're my brother and all that other nonsense?
Yes, I'm here to tell you that you're in danger, that I've been looking out for you. There's something going on. And I mean, I know somewhere deep down in there is my little brother. I remember. How can you not remember playing together? How can you not remember growing up? What have they done to you?
I just want to know if any of the Shadow Courtiers are watching this or nearby. Because I think there was some talk about maybe absconding Stenton for the Shadow Court, right?
I think Maud is sitting right nearby, but that's about it.
Okay, so Maud is keeping an eye on things. If anybody else wants to be there, they can be, but Maud is a good representation at this point. He says, I don't know what's going on, but I know that you're wrong about Lord Ashton.
Lord Ashton. Fine, we won't talk about Lord Ashton. I'm just here to talk about you and me. Hey, surely maybe you'll remember this. And I pull out my violin, and I think I start playing a song that our mother would sing to us, sort of a lullaby thing for nighttime.
I love it. Yeah, I think that's beautiful. Let's have
I don't know. I have a stirring speech move that I think might be interesting here.
Okay, what is that? How's that going?
So it's when you deliver a stirring speech before a conflict, generally speaking, roll charisma. And the sort of options I was thinking would be interesting here are your allies take +1 ongoing against fear, and also your allies take +2 armor as just sort of like, the magical music I think has more to do with enrapturing him and maybe trying to get something through to him. But my sort of goal here is to protect him and get him through this, and I think the other one does that more.
I think what makes a little bit more sense in the scene, though, is probably a parlay with the music as leverage, right?
Okay.
Like that's the leverage you have here in this social situation. So because I think that's going to get us the right result of like having to promise things to each other and stuff like that, right?
Cool.
I don't foresee this coming down to combat or anything. So.
All right, so that's charisma.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. 9, 10, 11.
Nice. You begin playing the song. You said it's like a nursery rhyme or like a lullaby that she used to sing. What's it about?
Yeah.
Like, if it had words, what would it be about?
I think it's generally about like the mountains that she came from. So it's about like the comforts of the winds and the solidness of the earth and the sort of like the a joy in winter and the sort of cold months and things, but not in a sad way.
His eyes begin to tear up. There's clearly an emotional reaction. And we see, his lower lip is quivering. And he says, I know that melody. I've heard that. Where have I heard it before?
I told you, it's from our mother. It's from her people. It's a song that has been sung to your family for who knows how many generations.
But I was born under a terrible curse. If I don't do as Lord Ashton says, that the curse will overtake me. It will destroy me. It'll destroy everyone that I love and I care about. Even if what you're saying is true, I can't go back. I am an ill-fated person.
I've fought against Lord Ashton's magics and fate this far to get to you. I can protect you better than he ever could. I don't believe that you were born under any sort of curse, but if something has been laid on you, I can keep you from it.
You promise that you will help me, that you will stick by my side, that you will help me. You will find people who know these things, who understand these things better than I do, to help break this curse.
All I've wanted for most of my life is to stick by your side. It's a promise I'll gladly make.
Good. He's going to be really shocked when somebody from the Shadow Court grabs him and puts him in the back of a van.
Yeah, and Maud goes slinking away.
Right, exactly. Really. Good. He hugs you, and yeah, we'll call that scene. That's good. I'd like to have a moment with Prim and Opry and anybody who else wants to be there. Possibly Shep, since Nico has encouraged Shep to talk to Prim. But I think I'd like for this to happen the next morning, though. So I just really, is there anything anybody else wants to do in the evening, like Gunter? Is there anything else you want to do before the night's over, or anybody else?
Not particularly. I'll just.
Okay.
Can I do? So I have this Oracle of Hypnos. When I enjoy a full night's sleep without interruption, I can ask a question about a person, place, or an event, and
sure.
And I want. I'm hoping for Opry to get a vision of the relationship between Corwin, Ashton, Stenton, and Brand, right? Because now we have these 4 people intermixed. And maybe in that scene, depending on how that role shakes out, I might want to try to hit Shep's flag and try to intercept Maud before Maud gets back to Shep.
What theories do you have as a player?
Oh, fuck me.
This is for anyone.
theories about the relationships between these characters.
Yeah, like how Corwin's involved and all that. Yeah. Especially how Corwin's involved.
I mean, Corwin's memory has also been wiped. So in that sense, perhaps it was like an early attempt at creating a Stenton, creating a gate that either didn't work or that Ashton stopped for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
And I think it's sort of telling that, it's Ashton's obsession with Stenton, that like he has to be the gate for this ritual created by his family to bring back someone from his family. Like I feel like it sort of speaks to the possibility that they're tied into this weird family too, Stenton and Brand.
And there's also something like deeply sensual about it too, right? Like they're worshiping Stenton's body, and it's perhaps not just the runes, it's the body itself. And the last scene before Ashton kills Corwin is this sort of sensual, like, tell me you love me kind of moment.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
I love it. Boy, I love all that. Man, oh man. I have my thoughts as GM. I think I might try to change them a little bit because I kind of like the things you guys are throwing out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, just thinking about it, like, I think maybe Corwin was a part of the family or whatever, distantly related or whatever. So I think he was helping Ashford by being the tattooer all those years ago. He was the one doing the tattooing on Stenton's body. But then when he found out like the full extent of what Stenton wanted to do, or what Ash wanted to do, he like betrayed him despite the love that they had. And so Ashford wiped his memories. He didn't want to kill him. But since they bumped into each other again, and it seemed like they were on opposing sides of the Stenton issue again, Ashford asked, "Do you love me?" And since he said no, it was like, I have to stab him this time. That's my theory.
I like that too. I have my thoughts. So this comes to you in a dream, right, Aubrey?
if that roll succeeds, yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you don't want to roll it, that's fine.
I don't care about the roll. Let's just do it. So there's no danger. There's not, right. There's like the circumstances are more just, this is kind of a, casual inquiry, right? You have a dream of a room. Probably, it's a little unclear where this room is, but it's dimly lit with lanterns. And we see a man, a decrepit old man who you don't recognize. Yellowing, like jaundiced skin, thin white hair, cracked teeth. He is wearing the robes of a wizard, and you know this because they're marked with runes and sigils, right? And he is sitting on a chair, and he has a number of people arranged. There are a number of people like before him, but like kind of standing in the shadows. So we don't quite see exactly in your dream who they are. But there are four babies, 4 baby boys crawling around on the floor. You can surmise that these baby boys are Lord Ashton, Corwin, Brand, and Stenton, possibly. But in any case, 4 young baby boys, slightly different ages here and there, like maybe some of them are like more toddler age and some are like brand new, right? That part's a little unclear and unimportant for our purposes. But a woman steps forward and she takes she takes 2 of the babies. She takes the 2 that you intuit to be Brand and Stenton. And this old man, this old wizard, waves her away, acknowledges that this is what has to happen. And then Lord Caspian Gall steps out of the shadows, and he takes the other 2 babies, the ones we know to be Lord Ashton and Corwin. And the old wizard waves them away, sends them on their way. And as Lord Ashton, in your dream, as Lord Ashton turns to recede into the shadows, you see a large fist-sized spider crawling up the back of Lord Gall's neck. As Lord Gall turns to take them away, you see a large fist-sized spider crawl up the back of Lord Gall's neck, and almost like and Lord Gall makes no reaction, like it's supposed to be there. And he takes the 2 babies away. And the wizard just smiles because everything is going according to plan. So you can interpret all that as you wish. For our purposes, the important thing to know is that they're all connected in some way. But right now, all we care about is this ritual to bring Corwin back. So,
love it.
The next morning, Prim is not having it. She sees this thing and she's like, absolutely not. This thing is an atrocity. I will not have that on the stage. It completely ruins the entire aesthetic that I'm going for here.
Who's on scene?
Whoever wants to be. She's not happy with this device.
Didn't you ask for the gate?
Yes, but I thought something lovely made out of like a stone archway with perhaps, fairy circles and paper mache deer. That's what I had in mind. Not this device of cogs and metal and.
Well, this is the gate, but we still have time before the show to create a facade over it.
Oh, we're losing. No, say that again, David. I lost you.
Oh. Well, this is it. This is the gate. You wanted the gate. We have the gate, and there's still time to build a facade over it. There's still time before the show begins. If you get everyone.
What do you know about these things? You're the animal handler.
The artificer's not here right now. All right, he's below taking care of more contraptions that are part of the gate that are underneath the floor.
Artificer? What does that even mean?
He builds things.
Prim or Opera, you're there too, right? Opera, you have like a way in, right? She believes that you're part of her cult, right?
I think I'm kind of pacing behind her, and I'm just whispering. I'm trying to soothe her. I'm trying to chanting the chant that's sort of associated with Faunus, just to remind her, like, this is all for a larger purpose. Like, Faunus will come and he will destroy the gate once he's back. Like, this is a small price to pay for the return of these kings. But yeah.
This sounds like a role with an aid. I'm going to give you the principal role here, Shep, with aid from Aubrey, if it makes sense, or if we need the role. But I'm just curious, like, what do you say to her? Like, how does this proceed? Like, how are you going to try to convince her? Apart from just like, you wanted a gate. Is there anything more?
Oh, like, it's not that you wanted a gate, it's that you wanted the gate, and this is the gate. There's not another option. We can cover it with all kinds of paper mache and things, but like, this is it.
And she'll turn and look to Aubrey and she'll say, does this man understand what we're trying to do, sister?
Does it matter if it happens anyway?
And I think Maud is sitting there staring at Prim. And Maud is like a thing of nature. So
I love it. Roll parlay.
cool. I have a 9, so an aid will make a difference here. Yeah, and I think Prim like locks eyes with Maud, and Prim doesn't know, but Maud like is a sentient thing and like nods to her, like this is the way.
This is the way. It has to happen this way.
I got a 7.
Okay, that bumps you up to a 10.
Cool.
She says, so you're certain this is going to work? The two of you. This is going to serve our purpose, sister?
I think the opera will be beautiful.
Very well. Very well. But I insist. Well, it's enough. Actually, I'm not going to go any further with that. She says, all right. All right. All right. Fine. This is the gate. Let's just, we have a lot to do. And she just kind of storms away.
Yeah.
Gunter, what are you up to during all this? We haven't talked to you in a while. Besides sneezing.
Yeah. Gunter is just looking around, pretty much looking at looking for more stuff about. Well, actually, since Corwin is dead, I think he was informed of that. I want to like have Corwin and Gunter been on other missions than the Caspian Gull thing.
I'm sorry, you broke up just slightly. Say that again.
Sorry. Have Gunter and Corwin gone on missions other than the Caspian Gull thing?
We can say they have. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, so he's. I don't know if I have a move that might give me some questions or answers rather. I just like there's no way to commune or anything.
With Corwin. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, so I mean, I guess maybe let's just step back a little bit, and I'll just ask you like, what is Gunter's interest right here? Are you just cool with the plan proceeding? Because if so, we're just going to move right to that. But
yeah, just plan proceeding is fine.
Okay. I think yeah, I think that's good. I noticed in the chat that somebody was talking about like there possibly still being like a blood component, something to do with Corwin's body maybe, or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And since you're kind of a blood-based character, I could even see like maybe there is like some kind of blood thing that has to happen that maybe to make it work. I don't know. We'll kind of see. We'll kind of play that out as the scene proceeds. We'll see if something like that takes place. But maybe be thinking about that. Like this may not work exactly as you guys hope, right? I mean, this is a jury rig thing. It's going to work. It's going to work as intended, meaning it's going to function as the gate. But there might be a question of like who you can draw through, right? So, right, like that's the part. That's the open question. Who the hell is going to come through the gate, right? And how are they going to come through the gate? All right, I like that. As far as Stenton goes, are we just letting Bran take Stenton to safety now, or what? What's going on there?
I think depending on what happens, I think. Well, if Gunter finds out, then he's not gonna let Stenton be taken to safety yet.
Yeah,
Well,
That's what we agreed on.
Well, the way it played out, it seems like they just both of them like bolted in the night, and I'm not sure. That's
what it sounded like to me. Like they were just gonna like go.
Yeah, whenever they were gonna go, Maud would have let me know, and I would get Gunther, and
to try to stop it. Yeah.
We would like not like a permanent like stopping it. Like we want him to get out of here too, but we need him right now.
Oh, so I like it. So you're gonna like try to like, oh, we're gonna help you, but you're actually gonna like put them somewhere like where you can go collect them later, basically.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. That might be good epilogue then. Maybe the Stenton situation is handled in epilogue. I think that sounds good.
Okay.
Like ultimately what happens with Stenton. That's great. Well, we're running. We're on the at the end of the official time, but we talked about playing these a little longer. So if you guys are good with, I think we've got like 20 minutes tops left here, maybe 15, 20 minutes, if that's cool with everybody. I'd like to just go straight to the opera in that case. Let's go around the table and figure out what this opera is about. We know that it's got farm animals. We know it's a fantasy because there's a dragon, and we know that it probably. I like the idea of Skiltor just as a sort of like, I don't know, a big middle finger to the world. His ritual to bring him back is about like it's about like a heroic knight and the woman he's trying to save, or the person he loves, having to fight a dragon, but the dragon wins in the end. Right? The dragon controlled by the evil wizard actually wins, and it's a sort of morality play or something, right? It's a sort of it's got some kind of message. I don't know, but I do think that I would like to just go round robin style and talk about the different movements and like the different progression of the story of this opera. Everyone is kind of. I'll start though and say that everyone is filed in. The cream of Eagles Reach society is there, right? You'll note Caspian Gaul's there. They're all there. Lord Ashton is there. Other folks you may recognize from Lord Gaul's ball. People are there. They're filling into the seats. It's wonderful. Prim Glamour comes out. She gives a little talk in the beginning about this beautiful play that harkens back to a time of tranquility, of nature, of peace, and blah, 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 blah. She goes on about at some length. And I think all of you can just be either backstage or near orchestra, right? Like just you can kind of be wherever you need to be when the shit starts going. And the curtain rises, and the first series of scenes is about. It's about a boy chosen for a special purpose, and we see a mother there with her son, this young child actor, and they're singing, they're having the different things are going back and forth and all that stuff. And in the end, what it boils down to is this boy is taken away to begin his training as a knight because he fulfills some kind of prophecy. And Aaron, what's the next part of the story?
So I have an idea for a conclusion. So I don't know if you want me to come back or.
I'll make you last. It's fine. David, what's the next part of the story?
So I think a big motif of this is like a perverted attack on nature, and like that's like why it's about summoning back this nature guy. But basically like, and that's like the moral fault within this knight is that he's willing to exploit nature and like destroy nature for his own purposes. And so like it progresses to where he's going to win his sword and be a proper knight. He's there. And in order to like defeat this castle, they have to like set a forest on fire to like destroy all their crops and everything. And he came up with the idea.
This is super interesting because this is Prim Glamour changing the script, right? Because presumably Skiltor Rune wouldn't have cared about the nature dogma, right?
Yeah, this is her creative
license. Yeah. She might fuck up the ritual. She may be really unhappy she did that.
And I have to like Shep has to like get a whole bunch of animals to run out of the fake forest fire like across the stage.
It's good. Yeah. You're like ushering them along, right? Yeah. It's good. Fantastic. Patrick, what's the next part of the opera?
So I like that sort of Prim overriding things theme. So I think the next part of the opera is Some tickets. So I think he needs like a special metal to forge into a sword to take down the dragon, a special bane for it. And so he like commands a kingdom to strip mine this entire area and like turn this lush mountain into a sort of rubble filled desert just to get enough metal for like the one blade that he needs to make.
Good. She's really creating, taking a lot of creative license with this play, isn't she? Skilter Rune would be really pissed off about his creative vision being stomped on right now. That's fantastic. Pablo, what's the next part of the play, of the opera?
So instead of Snake to fight, the knight realizes that he needs like more of this metal, and deep in the forest, in the cave, lived a basilisk, still a lizard, but not a dragon, but a basilisk, and he went to like fight the basilisk, but things didn't went as planned, and maybe he like I think the things didn't went as planned, and he was turning to stone.
Is it a basilisk because you weren't able to repair the dragon in time? Like just on the fly say, well, we don't have a dragon with wings. Let's make it a basilisk. It crawls on the ground.
Yeah, I think that when I initially damaged the dragon, it like fallen too hard, and the wings broke off. So I was only able to like fix it, like move on the ground, but the wings were gone. To change it.
I love it. That's really good. Oh my God, Skilter Rune is rolling in his grave in another dimension. Maria, this is the penultimate, near the end. What's happening?
Okay, so the knight has been turned to stone, and it isn't even the end of the play yet. I think what happens is that the seasons and years pass, and the knight goes back to being not in stone, but he's in a different modern day situation.
Contemporary, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so he doesn't know what's going on. We can use that machine for something, I guess.
He's Captain America in here, right? It's good. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can use the machine. The gate can actually show up now. I guess there's more creative license there.
Yeah, absolutely. Good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Aaron, take us out. How does the finale, the crescendo is building? What's going on?
So I like this idea of this passage of time. Maybe he doesn't change from stone. Maybe he's still solid. But what happens is that the dragon turned basilisk, that it starts to transform. That perhaps the knight wasn't the hero, but the dragon had been the hero, and you start to see scales sloughing off, maybe turning into pieces of fabric, cloak from like a wizard's cloak or something like that, and then like the curtains close. Like you don't see it completed, but you just see this transition happening.
I'm gonna override the curtain closing. I think I want the curtain to stay open.
Fair.
But I do like the idea of the wizard climbing out of the basilisk's body, right? And while that's going on, there's literally no explanation for what this machine thing is doing on stage. Like there's no explanation in the what's it called, of an opera, the little libretto or whatever. There's no indication of what's happening.
They ran out of paper mache.
Right. And we just hear like the chorus is a swelling chorus, right? The music is like, it's doing that whole like pam 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 pam, big fanfare building up, right? Building up to a big conclusion. Meanwhile, the various like, the gears and pulleys and things that Nico has contrived are beginning to spin and turn, and it's working. Against all odds, it is working. You see a sort of like swirly purple shimmer in the middle of this device, Prim Glamour, Opry. I assume you're nearby where Prim is, right? Sitting near orchestra, and she says, Sister, it's happening. It's happening. The time is now. And she jumps on stage and she holds her hands out and she says, Old King Faunus, the way is clear. Come forth. The way is open. Come forth. Lord Ashton stands up and says, Uncle, terrible and wise, Skiltor Rune, the way is open. Come forth. Come forth. Right? Who's stepping in for Corwin?
I will.
What do you do?
Gunther, you see Gunther, who is in bloody clothes, and he does the same thing for Corwin.
So you go up and you
holding Corwin's blood and a dagger, actually, that he managed to collect.
I imagine the audience is really surprised by this opera. What's going on?
Yes.
Lord Gaul stands up and he says, Malgoliant, mother of spiders, the way is open. Come forth, come forth. And there's an open question of
who's coming
forth. Since this is player facing, Gunther, what do you do to take priority over these other three people?
Well, let me answer this question real quick. Malgoliant is the spider goddess.
Oh no, I was just having audience reactions of wait, who?
Oh yeah, that was in quotes. That was
audience reactions. Wait, who is Malgoliant? I have Corwin's blood, and I think because I have something from him that he can actually that takes priority. And since as Nico explained earlier, he's easier to have him bring forth.
I love it. Let's do a quick custom move. What's your principal stat you roll for all your blood stuff?
Charisma.
Oh, that makes sense in this context. So I love it. So you have his blood, which is the missing element. That's the overriding key. That's the thing that's going to make this work. Mm-hmm. On a 10+, Corwin comes forth. On a 7 to 9, Corwin comes forth, but maybe not in the way you guys had hoped. On a miss, one of the others gets what they want.
Okay.
I would like to help if possible with this.
Please do. Yeah, please do. You understand your machine, right?
So it's not about the machinery. It's about, I wanted to work in the prep, but I'm not sure if it will work like this. But anyway, we see down in the basement, Nico unveils this some a small potion with a blue liquid inside it, and there's a label on it that is says Corwin, and we see a flashback of someone giving this to Nico and saying, when the time comes, you will know what to do with this bottle. And Nico just pours the content of this bottle into Corwin's body's mouth.
I love it.
I'm going to use my whispering shadow thing on your aid roll. If you fail this aid roll, you will go straight to last breath.
Yeah.
Ouch. All right.
Oh my.
Okay, so Opry, do you want to interfere as well?
I don't want to interfere. I think Opry goes into a trance. I think that she if you'll allow this, I think she involuntarily tries to call forth Old King Smule, when everybody's standing up and shouting for people to be.
And that's actually it can be an unintentional interfere, right? I think that's perfectly legit. So let's just take this in order. What is your role on the table?
I am going to roll right now. I have preparation.
Okay, that gives you +1.
So that's a +3.
Okay.
That I needed it because I have a 7 right now.
Aid would take you to an 8, but interfere could still knock it down to a miss. So it's just going to come down to how the interfere rolls goes. Since it's unintentional, I'm just going to have you roll 2 dice straight up, Aubrey.
That's a 3.
So he does not interfere.
He does not interfere.
I
No, he does not
apologize.
interfere. And something worse might happen, right? Like possibly, definitely to Aubrey, right? I think something worse is going to happen here.
How about everyone who was summoned comes forth?
No,
That would be hilarious.
No, you get the benefit of your success. It's gonna be you and Nico pulled this off. He's coming through. Maybe
but
not
someone
quite.
called like dead vision on my roll, so I think I should still roll the help because
That's a fair point. Yep, roll it.
Because David pulled visions of death on my roll.
Yep,
So how does help roll without bonds? Because
it's going to be int as you've described it.
Okay, Nico. It's a 7.
Okay. So you're
All
good.
right, we both get an XP.
Oh yeah, you guys both get an XP for him spending that. Yeah, good point. So here's how this is going to go. Corwin is definitely coming forth. Patrick, if you wish to resume play of Corwin in future Dungeon World sessions, you may do that. No problemo. I love it. All right, it's going. The chorus is swelling. The music is going crazy. This shimmery purple portal is opening up. Just as a callback to the first session. It looks a little bit like the portal that where the ocean creatures were trying to grab Stenton, right? But this portal is opening up, and we see Corwin step out of the portal, like almost like a returning king, right? Like we've all seen this play or this opera, right? Where like the final hero at the end is coming out and the chorus is all around and it's just like ba 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 ba, right? And he steps forward, but to your sense of fear and dread, Aubrey, he comes out wearing the bone crown of old King Smule. He has it on his head, and the curtain drops.
What does the crown do?
The bone crown of old King Smule?
Yeah.
Not important for our purposes. Just know it's dreadful.
Right.
The curtain drops, and let's go straight to epilogues. I need a 1 minute, 2 minute break, bio break. We'll come back. We'll do epilogues. You can show your character at any point in the future. I do want to give Patrick first I want to give Patrick right of refusal on what happens with Stenton. Okay, but we'll come back in a couple of minutes.
Corwin's back.
Yay!
Yay.
Definitely not terrible. That was an unexpected twist. I liked turning towards bringing Corwin back.
That was awesome.
Gunther's fine with this somehow, even though he was fine. Like he knows this is possible, and doesn't really help the secret masters that it could bring that bringing people back from the dead or something. However, he does have the bone crown, so that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
For now.
Yes.
So I guess we still have a Corwin body. That's weird.
Yeah, I wanted to say that as the curtain falls upstairs, the body in the basement disintegrates. That there's only one of them. Oh no, or maybe like Nico just like puts it into a bag and makes sure it is never found again. I think it's like more fun. Like Nico like puts it in the bag and just like.
I sort of love this idea of a crypt of Corwin bodies somewhere.
It's very
Yes.
very the Prestige kind of
Yes.
situation.
Just kick it under the stage.
Maybe that's something that we've seen with Stenton too. Maybe Stenton is also, maybe it's not just that he's lost his memories. Maybe like this is a new body each time.
All right. Well, that was pretty dramatic. Let's go to epilogues. Shep, where do we see you?
I think the mission was largely a success. We got our friend back, and I'm just gonna disappear. Like after that one show, I'm not gonna hang around anymore.
You're not taking up animal handling for the opera. That's your job.
No, but I think I steal that chicken.
Nice. Good. Yeah, love it.
Because I'm afraid what would happen to that chicken, and it was a particularly useful bird. So
we just see you just wandering off into the forest, or what?
Yeah. I think like you see me like getting ready, like I'm up in a tree and I'm about to get ready to do my my bonfire or whatever, anchor fire again. And then you hear like the clucking below me, and I'm like, calm down, like just give me a minute.
I like the idea that it followed you personally. Fabulous. Nico, give us an epilogue.
So as it was pointed out, one Corwin body was upstairs and one Corwin body was in the basement. So I think we see that Corwin, Nico like hides the body at first, and then like the next night like takes it out from the theater, and he meets someone. I don't know. Do we feel like Lord Ashton, or maybe someone from the Shadow Court, and Nico like passes them the body, and they said, so he lives again. Amazing, man. As for Nico, I think he remains in the service of like the organization. So far, I have like nothing else to say.
Very good. Gunther.
I think everyone who was calling people forth is pissed at Gunther right now for calling this random guy forth.
some nobody that no one cared about, right? Well, Lord Ashton cared. Right? So,
I still think Lord Ashton would be hella pissed to see the guy he killed brought back to life.
Yeah. Well,
So
it's a very good point about the bodies too. Like, who is this person who came forth? I don't know.
So I think the epilogue is either Ashton or Ashton and everyone else just being pissed at Gunter for like being there and being the
what
one
do you do?
who
Like, go into hiding or something, or what?
I kind of wanted to have that scene, but we might not have time for that. So I'll like say he's chased off Eagle's Reach for now.
Okay. That's all right. Fleas Eagle's Reach. Fabulous. Brad.
So, yeah, I think Brandon and Stenton, they got away in the chaos of all that, and things are going fine for a couple of days. But I think then there's this sort of running montage scene of like them being tracked and attacked over and over again. These are people like with Lord Ashton's sigil on them. Whether they're from Lord Ashton or not is totally other question. But they're being like obviously harassed by these people, and I think they're in like an inn that's on fire, and they're sort of in the basement tucked in there. And I think just out of the shadows comes walking. I don't know which of y'all. I think Shep certainly, but would it be like Shep and Gunter or Shep and Opry who are offering like, oh, we have a way to save you. We have a way to get you out of this. We have a way to make you safe. And I think they're like getting in the agreement. Stenton is going off with them, and of course Brand will have to follow into the Shadow Court just to watch over him.
Keep an eye on him. Yeah, it's perfect. I love it.
As far as just as a little tag coda as well, I think there's a house or a room in Lord Ashton's house, like a study or something. It's very dark. He comes in and sort of collapses after this whole like debacle and failure, and the light just comes up, and there's Corwin sitting there. The light is sort of gleaming off of his eyes weirdly, and the crown, and he just says, I believe you'd asked me a question, and I feel I have a proper response for you now.
Scene. I love it. Good.
Yep.
Opry, what about you?
Are we to believe that the thing that has come through this portal is Corwin, or Corwin as Smule, or just a part of everything that was summoned forth has been summoned forth in Corwin? Do we know anything?
Interpret as you wish. Whatever you think is most interesting.
Okay, I think Opry.
I have no idea.
I think Opry sees the crown, sees Corwin, and is genuinely pleased that Corwin is alive, but also sees the crown and sort of almost, she snaps back into, right, she was in this trance and she sort of snaps back in. I think she sees the crown and sort of finds, maybe understands something, understands that she is now bound to Corwin in some way, shape, or form. Whether that's because it is Corwin or because it is Smule or some influence thereof, or possibly even like a desire for the crown, because at one point she had possessed the crown, right? That's that's what she had to give back in her death bargain. So I think that she's committed to that. I also think that she's terrified about the implications of the fact that she went into this trance and desperately like seeks out her fire. And so she just, so I think that's where she heads.
I love it. All right. If you hit a flag, go ahead and mark an XP. If you're not sure if you hit a flag or not, just call it out and we can discuss it. Alignment statements. Gunther, help someone take impulsive, even reckless action. Sure. Mark an XP. Nico, use a gadget in a new and surprising way. You bet. Mark an XP. Opry, upset relationship to see what happens. Yes, 100%. Mark an XP. Shep, what is yours?
Help an animal or spirit of the wild.
Yeah, mark an XP. you are bonded with that chicken. Brand, discover something new or write a new song. Sure, yeah, mark an XP. I think everyone gets that. That's all looking good. Did we overcome a noteworthy enemy? Yeah, I think just the whole opera is, I'm counting that for that. Did we loot a memorable treasure? The bone crown's back in play, so that's interesting for sure.
And Corbin.
And Corbin is looted. I'll take it. Mark an XP. It's more or less. It's not really in the spirit of what they intend there, but I'm really into it.
We learned something new and important about the world.
Oh yeah,
yes.
You really did. Yeah.
Everything.
A lot of stuff. Mark an XP. Good. So you guys should have all picked up. Assuming you hit a flag, you should have picked up 5 XP there, 4 or 5. That's all fantastic. We can just debrief here. I'm not going to go into Discord. We'll just do it right here because I don't actually have too much to add from last week, except I'm very happy with the story we got. I thought it was quite dramatic. It was operatic in its both literally and in the outcome, like thematically. It had it had that, you know, at the end of all things, you guys were players in the company as well, right? And the show went on, and we got what we wanted out of it. I thought that whole scene at the end, that whole sequence with bringing back Corwin and kind of recontextualizing the ritual, I thought that was like the very definition of play to find out what happens. So I'm very pleased with that. And we have added significantly to the canon of the story, which is important for some of us who are paying attention to it, but for those of us who are not, I don't think it really matters. But we definitely had lots of really, really interesting callbacks. The most salient callback for me personally was the very first time we see Lord Caspian Gall, which is in Children of the Eight-Legged She, which was 100 years ago, but is going to be released on podcast soon. The very first time we meet him, we learn he is a member of the Shadow Court. That's a thing we learn, and it goes unspoken for the remainder of the campaign. Never gets referenced again for the remainder of the campaign. But here, we brought it back. We bring it back to see that Lord Gall was a member of the Shadow Court. And because the Shadow Court is, unbeknownst to most of its members, the Shadow Court is a tool of Malgoliant, right? So I loved all that. I found it very satisfying. And I thought your guys' play was really good. So those are my thoughts. I have no other thoughts. But if anybody else,
I would love to stay, but I have to go like now.
By all means, take off. If anybody has to go, please go. There's nothing keeping you here. But yeah, just general impressions, I guess, maybe just how you felt about it, how it went. I know that I could tell that you were having a lot of friction with it, Pablo, which is whatever. I mean, I sometimes play styles are just different, and I'm content with that being the answer.
Yeah, I came to this was definitely not what I was expecting type of story from Dungeon World. So I had some problems, especially with like mysterious investigation stuff, which I don't I'm not a fan of. But the ending was pretty cool. I got to pull off some cool artificer stuff. So
yeah, I haven't run Dungeon World as a dungeon crawl in forever. Like it's been literal years since I've done that, and I have a really particular brand of Dungeon World that I do. And this is very much in the spirit of it. I mean, it's maybe not quite always so investigation heavy, but there always is a sort of like mystery component to it. Fighting monsters and stuff I just like don't give a shit. Like it's just not something I care about. Because indeed, I think that we're still doing the genre of D&D because D&D, it's a mistake. This idea that D&D was just about fighting monsters is not true, right? Like I was there, I know. And so I'm very much like playing the dungeon role. I'm playing the D&D that I remember, right? Which was the 2E setting heavy D&D, the D&D that gives us the original Legerdemain module, which is a mystery, right? So yeah, but that's kind of where I approach that. But yeah.
And I thought Pavel, that turn in the middle of the session when you latched on, and obviously I like the idea of bringing Corwin back, but the way that like dramatically changed the way the story was going was super cool. You know, we had to sort of sit back and talk about it and meta figure it out for a minute, but that was an unexpected and great ending. It was really neat, and if I could have chosen a role, I definitely would have had that resurrection come back with the mixed success. Like you come back, but so does something else is always the more interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. I agree with everything you just said. I was really happy with how it went. I mean, the situation was just really kind of like just waiting on someone to take action, right? It was waiting on someone to do a bold thing, right? And I think that was a really good solution. So I think it worked out great.
And honestly, I ended up being happy with how Brand went. I liked that I was trying to reinforce elements of the story that were already there, rather than like, and here's this new guy.
No, I thought that was really terrific. I'm glad you grabbed on to like something that is relevant to what's happening, right? Because I think that's the only way you can do it when you're down to one session and you have to make a brand new character, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure there's any other good solution there. It would have been entirely difficult and weird if you were just like a rando, right? So tying it to Stenton was really great. I love how we got a lot of like mythology based off that whole thing, right? Like things that I did not foresee. I didn't. That should be really pointed out. There was the only thing I knew for sure was happening when I created this adventure was Prim Glamour was going to try to bring back old King Faunus via an opera. Literally none of the rest of it was in my mind. I only brought Lord Ashton and all of its attendant things together and into it because of that scene you guys had at the pub. That scene you guys had at the pub forced a decision. It forced a reckoning on, when I brought Lord Ashton back into it, I thought it was just going to be a fun little callback, a fun little like kind of thing. I put Stenton there just to see what would happen. And then when Nico looked in the room, I suddenly had a lot of pressure to make something interesting be going on there. I did not foresee any of it. I'm pretty good at spinning on a dime and making it seem like it was always that way. But it was definitely not. It was a lot of it was driven by your guys' missed results. That was a big part of it. But if you guys hadn't made so many misses, it would have been probably a little bit more conventional in structure. But
well, that's the signature I bring to your PBTA games: story through failure.
Story through failure. Missing, not failure. We don't say
misses. Failure. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I didn't foresee any of it. The initial countdown was Prim Glamour. There was the halflings were there too. They had a countdown, but they were not originally part of Lord Ashton's plan. They were just like somebody responding to the rumors of magical artifacts. And yeah, and then the other countdown was there was another one too that never really came into place. It was a specific thing about Prim Glamour where if Opry had not like gotten Prim Glamour on your side so quickly, Prim Glamour would have been pushing back against you guys with like nature magic and stuff. But because of Opry's approach, that got thrown out the window. And so Prim Glamour became more of like a hapless NPC, basically, right? But it also would have, if Nico had gone up to Prim Glamour's room like Prim was intimating should happen, that might have been a different situation. So who knows? But so yeah, like there was, like so much of this was truly driven by like the zigs and zagging you guys were doing at different points, right? And it's fun as a GM to try to make it all seem coherent. It made the mystery significantly more intricate than I thought it was going to be, the whole Lord Ashton thing. But we got there. I feel satisfied with it at the end. So.
And like you said, it ended up being very operatic in its nature. Like, an opera plot is not going to take the simple way out and just have one betrayal. No, it's going to end with the final scene with all these threads coming together.
It's totally operatic, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we've got like siblings with like, you know, some sort of like shared history, and like one is taken away. There's issues of identity. There, all of it.
Amnesia, forbidden
amnesia,
love.
right? Yeah, like it all had a very operatic feel, and I was really into that. That was totally incidental, but it worked out great. So yeah, no complaints here. Yeah,
There's great characterization. There's a great tone to it, and I love the pacing. There was a lot of like, I don't know if operatic describes it for me, but there was these really just great punctuated moments of tension that happened throughout. Sometimes mid-session, sometimes at the end of a session. I appreciated that.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, I'd have to sit back and think about it for a little while, but I think that's probably right. Yeah, I'm so busy just trying to like react. Sometimes it's kind of hard to like keep my brain wrapped around the total scope of everything, right? But
yeah. I had fun doing my pretty straight ranger thing. Like
I loved your character. I thought it was great.
I like my ranger a lot, but
it was really fun.
There's some like really, really complicated player character stories going on, and it's like, man, I did not want to try and like insert another one. So I'm like, I'm going to play this ranger pretty straight.
Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, like I think you went for a characterization that was different and not as like tied into the overall story, but it was nevertheless a fun characterization. So I don't think that's like, you know, I consider that a win. So, you know, some people have to be part of the B plot, right? I mean, that's just the way it goes. So.
And your Dr. Dolittle animal court was amazing. It was so good.
I thought it was so funny. I loved it. Like every time you did something with the animals, and so I just thought it was really funny. It was a great like comedy relief. So yeah, I was there for it.
All right, guys, I'm gonna take off. Great job. And thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go too. You guys have a lovely remainder of your Sunday. If it's Sunday, wherever you're at. And yeah, I'll see you guys around.